Kernahan and Kelly.
Yes, well, Kelly's obviously lining up on Kernahan and centre-half back. Christian's starting on the bench, and it's very nasty here.
Actually, the Spirit, Carlton have enlisted the services of a few of their ex-players in the rooms. Collis, Dool, Jackson and Nichols were very prominent in the rooms before the game.
Away they go in more ways than one. The umpire wisely deciding to bounce the ball. The ball socked away for Carlton by Tarzan. Out towards the centre wing position, picked up by Phillips. He was dragged off it. The ball socked forward. Well, in fact, almost. We'll see a bit of that today. A chance for the Blues again. Tarzan does the shepherding. In comes Fraser Brown, standing over the ball, wondering which way the umpire's decision is going to go.
Yeah, I think we're seeing some fireworks, Pete. Well, both sides need to fire up. Collingwood have lost their last 5, and Carlton have lost 3 out of their last 4.
Monkhurst up high. Ooh, it certainly won't be a day for tall timber. Michael Gaffer is going to get the free kick, playing his 100th game. It's taken a while to get there, but he's finally managed to crack 3 figures. So our congratulations to him. That's out of bounds. So boundary throw in. Seen wet conditions for a while, so really it's pretty hard to work out how these teams are going to adapt to it. Carlton didn't have any luck at all last week.
It's an interesting decision given against Justin Matney. Very often wraps his arm around the opposition player in the ruck contest.
Starcevic's kick, Dean underneath it. The ball socked away by DeRuy going out towards the boundary line, or what's left of it. You can't see it really. And it will be another boundary throw in.
Steve DeRuy playing his 50th game today too for Carlton, Pete, after being recruited from Perth.
Madden and Starcevic once again go at it. Madden clean tap down to Francis. Clean possession from him up to Mullane. Affects the hand pass. Good block by Bradley. Dean fixed the ball back whence it came. Bradley went through, couldn't take the ball. Russell, that was Scott Russell. And Craig Bradley almost scores a try out there as the wrestle continues.
Well, I can't believe that decision.
Well, it's a free kick against
but he's
Craig
right
Bradley.
On the boundary line.
Well,
what was he supposed to do?
He went for the dive, Robbo, and just took it straight over the boundary line.
50 metres. And this is the most contentious issue of the day. The 50-metre penalty.
How about a Bedecker?
Well, the 50-metre penalty is absolutely ridiculous for minor infringements. And that's not even a 50-metre penalty, because that was just about almost on the 50-metre line where that free kick was given.
It's not going to make much difference, is it? Tony Shaw kick a goal. And that's the penalty that they suffer.
First goal, Tony Shaw. Collingwood, 1 goal. Carlton yet to score.
And just getting back to that free kick, Robbo, Craig Bradley, he was obviously playing for a free kick, just dived, went for the dive. He thought that Tony Shaw was about to tackle him, and he went for the dive straight over the boundary line, made no effort whatsoever to get rid of it.
And the umpire's electing to just throw the ball in the air. Collingwood get the tap out. Chance in there.
Oh, gee, there's some heavy work going on in there.
Steve Kernahan's in everything.
Starcevic in there with Stephen Kernahan. The kick by Monkhurst to centre-half forward. No mark taken. Strong play by Williams. Gets the ball to Brown. Brown kicks it long into the square. It may bounce through. It does, but it's offline. And through for a point. So both sides fired up. No doubt about the importance of this game for both teams. Carlton have won 4 and lost 5. Collingwood, on the other hand, have won 3, lost 6 with a draw. And both teams losing contact with the 6 as David Kernahan kicks the ball back into centre-half back. Monkhurst taps it further forward. Chance for Tarzan playing his first game for Carlton. Out towards Hannah. He overruns it. In comes Hawker, but the free kick will go to Gaffer. Advantage will know. Shane Maud looking to run away with it, but Gaffer may have the job tagging Millum Hannah on the wing, which is an interesting one, and Gaffer will kick Collingwood into attack.
He kicks to right half forward. No day for high flyers today. A lot of the work and a lot of heavy work's going to be on the ground. That's Tarzan, number 45. What a day to make your debut against the club's all-time rival in conditions that are anything but good. The ball slapped away by Phillips. A chance for Shaw, who kicked the only goal scored so far, and a good mark taken down there by Sexton. Sexton just up from the left back pocket, centering kick by the Carlton rookie. More good body work by Gleeson. Ball socked away by David Kernahan up towards the centre wing position. Fraser Brown again off the ground. Kernahan has been in everything.
Free kick.
Yes, had to be.
Too severe, Craig Kelly on Kernahan then.
Incidentally, just before that, he was spoken to, and Kelly, by the emergency umpire. I don't think any numbers were taken, but obviously a warning was given because that's been on for a while. Arsiri, Carlton's only goal kicker, would you believe, last week at the Western Oval. And it came with about 1 minute to go in the game.
34 seconds, Pete.
Thank you, Robbo. But John Elliott pointed out in the official lunch the last time Carlton scored 1 goal back in the 60s, they went on to win the premiership. So the Blues are hoping that that's an omen. Knocked down by Monkhurst. The umpire's found a free kick on the shoulder.
Now, these are 50 metres. Bernie, what do you think about that, where if the players don't hear the whistle, we often see players stop?
Well, even I think, Robbo, if you do hear the whistle, you're not sure which way the free kick is going. And the 50-metre penalty is far too severe.
Maybe it should be 25, Bernie. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. The 15 metres I like, Pete, because especially on the forward line, it can be very severe for minor infringements.
Yes, but players were getting away with murder, weren't they? Just stopping play, wasting time. 15 metres didn't seem adequate, and that's why it was brought in. Anyway, it's a good talking point. Brown takes the free kick from centre-half back for Collingwood. Alvin underneath it. A lot of players today wearing the long sleeves, which is certainly sensible under these conditions. Ball becoming very greasy. Mark again taken by Brown, almost in the same position.
Gavin Brown kicks it wide to half forward. Attempted tap over the top. Good gather by James. Left foot kick is reasonably effective. Hawker, slick handball, too quick for Alvin. Kick off the ground by Francis, comes back towards James. The free kick has been picked out of it. It's going to Carlton, to be taken by Hawker on centre wing, maybe against Francis.
Yes, holding off the ball there. Glenn Hawker playing his first game for the season, a veteran, a former Essendon player that has been out of favour this season. 221 games to Glenn Hawker, 222 today.
Well, these conditions should suit him. He's probably lost a little bit of zip in his play. His kick has been marked by Monkhurst, and Monkhurst, who has been a little bit out of sorts this season, but doing well in the early part of this important game here at VFL Park. Up the centre wing, at the back Francis, a quick kick to half forward, 50 metres. A good effort there by Dean. Kwasiska tries to handball to Mullane, and the ball goes over for a boundary throw-in. And I noticed at least 3 players, Mullane, Kwasiska and Williams, have got the thigh pads on, which is becoming
In vogue, Robert.
a very prevalent thing today.
If you suffer from hamstring problems, it's sensible under these conditions. Gleeson's kick is a real up and under job. High. Morwood kicks to half forward, and there's one of them we were mentioning. Robbo was. That's Darren Mullane. One of the players that Collingwood really does need to fire if they're to once again climb the heights of the ladder. Francis inside 50.
Very important player in the Collingwood side, Tony Francis. A hard tackling rover, a real terrier. And back in the side this week. A very good player. Darren Mullane taking his time. No way of making the distance from there. And that's a very good mark.
Now, can he get the distance? Because he'd only be 45 metres out, but on a day like today with the ball already heavy, it'll be a line ball, but Francis does it easily. It's a goal. And the Magpies off to a great start. 2-1. Carlton yet to score.
Yes, it is a good start, especially in these conditions. They're moving well. They've structured their forward line with Doug Barwick, a smaller player, playing at full forward. They've got Darren Mullane running around on that half forward line. He's not playing on the wing as he normally does, named on the half-back flank, but they've structured with a smaller forward line, and it's working at the moment.
Monkhurst gets the tap down. Arsiri's quick kick. James, shows courage, the youngster, playing only his 3rd game of AFL football. Michael James, the son of one of the 3 Carlton Brownlow medalists, Deacon, James and Collis, and Collis is here today. The ball at half forward for Carlton. Kick back towards centre wing, and James takes the mark. Forward of the wing position. Between wing and half forward, he tries to kick it to Justin Madden, and Madden in the finish takes a pretty good mark in front of Scott Russell. There's still 2 kicks from goal.
That's an excellent mark, in fact, Robbo, in these conditions.
Centre half forward, Gleeson tries to get through, spins his way out, picked off by Kelly. Kelly's quick kick goes close to the boundary line. It is out on the full, and the free kick to be taken out there by Fraser Brown. And here's another player for Carlton, that just goes in and out of the team. I don't quite know what happens with these young fellows, but consistency should be rewarded with a few games in the seniors. Chance for Hannah. He's pulled off the football. Monkhurst kicks it clear, not too far. The mark is taken there by James, and this will be his 5th kick, and we're only halfway through the first quarter. Short pass, mark to Madden. Now, Justin Madden is a good kick for goal, and I would think he can convert from here.
Yes, Monkhurst just falling back around on that goal square, expecting James to go for the long kick. You cannot afford that. And Justin Madden propping around that centre-half forward area. Was able to take that short pass very easily.
And you wonder who's umpiring this game of football, don't you, sometimes? Justin Madden for goal from 35 metres. His kick is offline. Collingwood fans happy?
12 points the difference. As Gordon Collis was at the official luncheon, looked in pretty good shape too, and so did another Carlton great, City Jackson.
Didn't he look terrific?
Fantastic. Great to see them there. McEwen kicks in. Gee, that's a boomer kick under these conditions, and a good mark taken down there by Mick McGuan. Gets play moving quickly. McGuan kicks to the edge of the square. Krosiska, gee, is that 50 against Derui? Might be harsh, but a possibility. Woods leading 2-1 to 1 behind. Kicks inside 50. Alvin almost marked it. In dry conditions, he certainly would have. Dean gets the kick out wide, and he's doing some great things out there, James. Derui again. Derui from the right half-back flank. Madden takes his 3rd mark. So making light of the wet conditions, but he took a divot like Robbo sometimes does with a 5-iron. There's plenty of divots out there this afternoon. We'll see a few more. There's a free kick being played.
Oh, I think that was a bit doubtful.
That was very tough, Robbo, wasn't it?
Right.
It was a great tackle by Fraser Brown on Russell from behind.
It's Kim Russell, the brother of Scott.
The older brother, I think, isn't he?
Yes,
the older brother.
a couple of years older.
Off the hands of the pack. This is another rookie. And Tarzan. Not Tarzan, but Tarzan. Down to Derui. I'm told the sea is silent, Robbo. Is that correct?
Well, that's my drum,
You're
Peter.
the Carlton man, so we're taking a leaf out of your book. Tony Shaw, who kicked the first goal of the game. A chance for the Woods again. Ball kicked up towards Gleeson. That came from Dennis Banks. Alvin. David Kernahan grabbed. The ball spills free. And this time it's picked up by Sexton. Sexton kicks towards the middle of VFL Park. Down goes Hannah. And is going to get a free kick. Seemed very light, that one. Hannah to take the kick from midfield.
Hannah's kick wide, and he finds Brown, and the players are handling this ball very, very well. A couple of good overhead marks. Brown's kicked the centre-half forward. Out comes McEwen. Strong in defence, can't take it. Arsieri, Gleeson. Ball, Phillips, kick off the ground, Alvin. Back goes Scott Russell. Oh, a little too severe, I thought there. But no, the umpire will throw it in the air. Centre-half forward for Carlton. Scott Russell, you may have been a little stiff.
Some great efforts out there, Robbo.
Yes,
as you would expect.
Well, that's right, Bernie. In conditions like this, the players that are prepared to put themselves in. Kernahan, quick kick by Stephen Kernahan, marked by McEwen at full-back for Collingwood. He's in that left-back pocket for the Magpies. Kick wide. Tony Shaw marks in front of James. And Tony Shaw, this is his 3rd kick coming up. He's at left half-back for the Magpies. Kicks towards centre wing. Madden. No mark. Certainly no mark. Goes after it again. At the bottom of the pack is Phillips. And the umpire will be forced to come in and throw it in the air. Justin Madden and Michael McGuan there having a little to-do. Umpire throws it in the air.
I think in that thing started off rather ferociously with a fight before the first siren. That's out of bounds, I think. I say I think because the boundary line is so damn hard to see.
Yes, it's disappeared over there in the...
Just about totally, Robbo.
With the rain falling, I would suggest.
So Madden and Monkhurst. Won by Monkhurst. No clean possessions out there. They're very hard to come by. That was Gaper. The ball kicked further afield, down towards Starcevic. Got a handle on the ball, that's all. Derui, good tackle by Tony Shaw. The ball spills free. A chance for James again. He's a real terrier like his father was in that back pocket for Carlton, where he won a Brownlow medal. Not much got past him. Now a chance for Williams. Dishes out the hand pass pretty effectively. Banks kicks long. to half forward. No mark paid by the umpire. Socket away by David Kernahan. Francisca gets bunted out. Was it in the back? Collingwood fans perhaps thought so. Past Tarzan, couldn't pick it up. Barwick looking for a free kick and could have got one. Alvin, hurried hand pass. Derui from a standing start. Kicks the ball about 35 metres. He did well. Madden, he's been in the thick of things. Bradley, Mullane, dummied the hand pass and then kicks the ball beautifully. Starcevic was his target at the back. Almost came out with it and did well to get a fist to the ball and kick it further forward. Hand pass it further forward. David Kernahan. Not a well-directed kick though. Collingwood mark. And taken by Kim Russell, who's inside the square. Collingwood leading 2 goals. 2 goals, 1 actually. Carlton get to score a major. This is Sexton. Again, not a well-directed kick. The ball sits kindly for Monkhurst. The hand pass over the top is effective. Once again, a chance for the Collingwood side to go forward. Kim Russell certainly runs his full distance. Kicks down to half forward. David Kernahan. And once again, Sexton. Back to Madden in everything. Not a good hand pass to David Kernahan again. He's a pretty live wire defender. Tries to get the ball out of bounds. Is that a trip? Certainly could have been such. Umpire playing that or ball up?
Gee, your heart certainly is in your mouth when the ball's with Justin Madden, isn't it, Robbo? Because let's have a look at that. I don't think that was a free kick.
He's even having trouble throwing the ball in the air there. Umpire Chris Mitchell having a bit of a chuckle, which is good. The spirit of the game not bad. Madden tries to tap it down. In there is Francis. He's bundled off the football. Bradley's underneath it, tries to tap it to Elvin's advantage. Phillips is held. Umpire calls play on Elvin. Williams doing some good heavy stuff in there for Collingwood. And the umpire will call for a boundary throw-in. Mick McConnell off the ground. And
Meldrum on at full forward, Robbo, taking his place.
Tony Shaw tries to kick it out. Justin Madden can't kick it out. Francis. Oh, it's bundled out by Carlton. Gleeson. Gayfer on centre wing. Gleeson still a chance. Ooh. Good effort by Brown. No, too heavy.
Yeah, too high, Robbo. Has to be a free kick to Gleeson. He had his head down trying to pick up the ball, and that was a head-high tackle. Not
an easy game to umpire. Both sides desperate. Gleeson's kick towards centre wing. Monkhurst over the top. No mark. Kelly probably could have left it. Kick off the ground. No, desperate stuff by O'Sullivan. Kick by Hannah. Oh, down goes Gayfer. In trouble, Michael Gayfer.
O'Sullivan. He's hurt, I think, O'Sullivan. Oh, no, he's right. Gayfer, he's okay. It was
a solid bump by
That was definitely the elbow raise there, Robbo, too. Terrible.
Good effort by Mick Gayfer to get up and recover so quickly. Francis held by Bradley, still got the football. Should be free kick, and he is. Bradley to take it at half-back.
Very good player, Craig Bradley. He needs to fire this afternoon if Carlton's to do well in this game. Morwood kicks across the ground, finds space out there, and Nick McGuan. Plenty of room to move. Brown, good safe mark on the chest. Too far out to score, even on a dry day. So he's gone for a pass, and that's effective for Francisca. Starcevic. There's some loose checking by Carlton. Starcevic would be just about within kicking distance.
And Pete, much better usage of the ball by Collingwood. Carlton getting the ball and just blazing away.
Well, they're being forced to, Bernie, because Collingwood's persistence on the Carlton players has been enormous.
So Craig Starcevic from about 45 metres out. Not a bad sort of a kick distance-wise. And a goal! So Collingwood's third, 3-1 to 1 behind. And that goal player will be a good poker player because he certainly gave nothing away.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was almost putting down a point there, Pete, just watching the goal umpire. And that is a good kick by Starcevic. Well across the goal face was the goal umpire. But, a great start by Collingwood. 3 goals early in the first quarter, and Carlton really struggling.
An excellent start by the Magpies. They lead by 3 goals, and the conditions that are anything but good. There's going to be a free kick going Collingwood's way. It's going to be taken by young Lehman, is it? Haven't seen him before. Kicks to half forward. Tarzan, another rookie at the back of the pack. A chance for Banks. He's anything but a rookie. Good hand pass. This could be another goal to Collingwood. McGuan blazes away and gets it. So 2 goals in a minute to the Magpies, and that's a very handy lead. 4-1 they lead, Carlton 1 behind.
These conditions not conducive to a big score, but Collingwood doing it well, winning the ball out of the centre of the ground. There's a long kick, they haven't messed around. They went long into the goal square. A good pick up here by Banks. An excellent hand pass to the running Michael Gafer, and a very easy shot at goal from about 25 metres out. Mickey McGuan, I should say, not Michael Gafer.
I think you mentioned the important thing, Bernie. They just keep getting the ball out of the centre, and it's a critical thing for the Blues. They just can't get it out. Now James does to centre half forward. Hawker held, and Hawker will get a technical free kick at centre half forward. Short pass into the pocket. Collingwood defence playing all right. Meldrum slips over. Still got the football, flips it out. Now chance for McEwen. Conditions would suit him. Goes to Kelly. Collingwood defence playing pretty well. It's important to assert your authority early in a game like this, and Collingwood have done it well. Bradley taps it along the boundary line. Close to it. Krasiska has taken the ball over. And the Magpies, a good start. 4-1 to a point. And Monkhurst. Oh, they both fall over. Tapped by Kim Russell. Luke O'Sullivan, Hawker. Hawker's kick to full forward. Meldrum, McEwen. McEwen too tall. Meldrum. Oh, it's been paid.
Yeah, it was good play, I thought, by Meldrum, but just that little tap. It wasn't, I didn't think he marked it, actually, Ronnie McEwen. It bounced out of his hands, and Meldrum a little tap away.
David Parkin, just a second ago, looking a little concerned. Kick by McEwen, straight down the ground. Free kick being paid to Carlton, too high. And it will go to their rover, Mark Arsiri.
They rolled out the red carpet for him today too, Robbo, after kicking their only goal last week.
Oh, you're still laughing, aren't you? Forced forward by Collingwood defence. Hannah. Gafer hot on his tail. He falls over. Oh, gathers his ground pretty well. Meldrum. Handball over the top. O'Sullivan's going to get run down by Shaw. No, he's still got the football, and now he's bundled over. And it's too high. Well, he's a little fortunate, I think, Luke O'Sullivan. He'll take the free kick about 40 metres from goal.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it again, Robbo. There's that free... Oh, gee, that was nothing at all. Nothing at all in that against Kim Russell, the free kick paid.
And Rhino O'Sullivan, as he is affectionately known at Carlton. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. He's very hard up against the boundary line, but certainly within kicking distance. Gives it a good kick to the front of the square, punched away. Back goes Brown for Carlton, falls over. Lehman was in there. Hawker. Krasiska pressure, not bad. And umpire calls for the boundary umpire to throw it in, much to the delight of the Collingwood fans, who have got plenty for their money so far. 4-1 the Magpies, and the Blues are 1 behind.
The two M's, Monkhurst and Madden, do battle again. Inside 50 for Carlton. They haven't been down there. Arsiri, that is too high.
Well, a free kick, I think, paid against Tony Shaw, but that was
against Kelly.
Was it against Kelly?
My word.
Well, if that was... we've seen a couple of incidents...
Luke O'Sullivan saw what happened.
Well, Luke O'Sullivan shouldn't complain.
No,
because,
that's right, Bernie.
He was doing exactly the same thing early in the game. Let's have a look at that replay of this incident.
It's two in...
Oh, golly. We've seen a couple of those today, and we've got to get that out of football.
Couldn't agree with him more. Then Hawker has the free kick. No need for it. One of the veterans on the Carlton side, 45 out, kicks for goal. Is it Carlton's first? They need one. He's got it, I think. The goal umpire says full points. Carlton's first, kick by Glenn Hawker, and good to see Mark Arsiri back on his feet. 4-1 to 1 run.
And it took exactly 2 hours earlier than last Sunday's goal.
Yes, they haven't had any great goal scorers. They really haven't troubled the scorer the last couple of weeks. But look at this free kick again, and gee, that could have been. He could have been seriously hurt there, Robbo.
Do you know what I think? I think he was lucky he had the football in front
exactly.
of him.
Exactly.
Yes, you're probably right.
The impact.
Probably right.
4-1 to 1-1 at VFL Park. 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Madden's tapped down. Bradley takes the hand pass, spins around, left foots it up towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Gleeson with a slap forward, but Collingwood through Morwood will be able to get out of it, and Tony Shaw goes for the long hand pass. The Woods away. Morwood again. Krasiska nearly caught and finally gets boot to ball.
Kicks it to half forward for Collingwood. Coming out strong in defence was David Kernahan. He was held. when he didn't have anywhere near control of the football, and David Kernahan will take the free kick for the Blues.
Good fullback, Robbo, isn't he, for Carlton?
He's very solid
player.
and old-fashioned, Bernie, isn't he?
Yeah,
Doesn't
sticks with
give
his
his man too much yardage or meterage. Hawker on centre wing, taken away by Brown, dives on it, could be penalised, and he is going to be.
No.
Well, he did dive on it, and I think that's
the Collingwood player. The Collingwood player was right in the middle of his back. He jumped right into him.
I do understand what you're talking about. Kosiska, well tackled by Sexton. David Kernahan, Dean. Phillips bumped off it by a little bit of strength from Francis. Tarzan, that could have been a free kick against him. Ball comes wide to the wing. Winnable, Hawker gets his foot to it. Kernahan punched away by Kelly. I think it'll be a real slog. The last quarter will be very, very tough for these players in extremely heavy conditions. Monkhurst, Francis, and he's going to be free kick this time. And it may have been a delayed one from one a little earlier. It's against Craig Bradley.
Tony Francis at left centre wing for the Magpies, who lead by 3 goals in the match of the day. Sexton at the back, a fresh air shot virtually, and an attempt to punch away. Tony Shaw, good centering kick by the skipper. Hanna doubles back quickly and gets a decent old hoof from mid-air into space, almost at centre wing. That was an excellent job. Gaffer, Gleeson's hand pass, willfully accepted by Dean, and a chance for Carlton again. Luke O'Sullivan. Alvin's kicked to half forward. Hawker tries to smother the ball. Kernahan, who's certainly been in the wars today. Francis, there is a whistle on play.
Gee, that was well done by Glenn Hawker. Just to smother the ball in when the players in the early part of this game have just allowed the ball to slip through their hands a little bit.
4-1 to 1-1. Kernahan sets himself for it and loses out to Monkhurst. See a bit of the ball being hacked out of mid-air today and off the ground. It's a good tactic. O'Sullivan again. Centering kick. That's just about a goal. Hits the post. So one behind. Kick by O'Sullivan. A poster. 4-1 to 1-2. David Parkin chews away. McEwen will kick in. Less than 2 minutes left in the quarter.
You can't question the attitude, can you? The attitude of both sides has been terrific, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, Robbo. Very disappointed, Luke O'Sullivan. A good kick off the boot.
Kick in by McEwen. Bradley could have really stayed on the ground. 3 or 4 Collingwood players have, and they outnumber Tony Shaw intelligently. Francis kick off the ground, rebounds. Shane Morwood, you're nearly caught with a football. In there is Hawker, a little tap to Brown, wasn't bad. Brown's kick, close to the line, bounces just inside. So we'll have a boundary throw in right half forward for Carlton. Good crowd too here at Waverley.
Yeah, 39,000 actually, Robbo, here to see these two lowly sides battle it out.
Oh, you love pumping that one in. Madden does the ruck work. Shane Morwood leaves it behind. Eventually it's kicked out by Lehman back towards centre wing. Sexton, good work. And gets his footing pretty quickly. Kicks it back to half forward. Gleeson marks. Taken away by Gaffer. Goes back to Justin Madden. Lumbering, but he gets his kick away. Meldrum's back. Not Melbourne. Mick McConnell, rather. 40 metres from goal. There's no one home. He's going for the long kick. And he's missed badly to the right. And has scored just 1 point.
Yes, well, he did the right thing. He moved it on quickly because there's no Collingwood defenders back in the goal square. Had he been able to kick accurately, he would have been okay, but a very poor kick in the end off the boot.
So Ron McEwen, good to see him back in the Collingwood lineup too. After a short stint on the sidelines, Brown, has he taken the mark? Just about paid it today. Clock ticks down to quarter time, and under the circumstances and conditions, a pretty good quarter of football. Tony Shaw, similar attempt, but that one I don't think has been paid. In fact, it hasn't. The umpire calls play on, and the ball ricochets out of bounds as we're just about set for the siren. Only a few seconds remaining in the first quarter, in which we've seen 5 goals kicked. Would nearly been 6 at that poster by O'Sullivan. Had been just a little bit further to the right. It's going to be a free kick to be taken by Monkhurst. He won't get a chance to kick it though, because there is the siren. He decides to mouth off instead. 4-1 the 1-3. Collingwood leading at the first change.
Wet weather football.
Second quarter at AFL Park, 4-1 to 1-3. Collingwood leading by 16 points. Kicked out of the centre by Phillips for Carlton, up towards half forward. The ball hits the deck. It's been on there a lot in the game so far. Shaw, sock it away. Up towards half forward, Arsiri, who was nearly KO'd in the first quarter. This time he's going to get a free kick.
And Peter, both those players, Arsiri and Gaifer, have recovered well from those heavy knocks.
That's good because they were fairly high. Free kicks were given, but nothing more. Oh, gee, that's just about a free kick, isn't it? The umpire calls the advantage. Well, James just about best on the ground in the first quarter. Bradley spins around beautifully on a wet day. Kernahan punches the ball clear. Hawker, Carlton's only goal kicker. The ball slapped back towards the 50-metre line. McEwen, a real up and under hand pass that one. Albin, the front running, has to beat 3 Collingwood players. Couldn't do so. Socket further towards the boundary line, and a chance for Gaifer, who appeared to be taken high. A chance for Collingwood through Lehman, the rookie. Starcevic in front. Magpie fans looking for a free kick, and he's going to get one for being held with not in possession.
It's a place to be today, Pete, in front in every contest.
Got some blood streaming down his face too.
Is it blood or mud? Maybe both, Robbo. I think you're right. Madden, probably the best of the big men in the first quarter. James again, doing a lot of the heavy work. Something like his father did. Derui, good tackle on Starcevic. The ball spills free for Lehman. Lehman at left centre wing, the Collingwood rookie, kicks up towards the 50-metre line. Dean, that would have been a spectacular grab today. A chance for Tarzan. He goes off the ground to the boundary line. Now, I've got no idea where the boundary line is because the paint is totally obliterated. I think it's out. So a boundary throw-in.
There's the emergency umpire out there speaking to Starcevic and Steve Derui.
I don't know what happened there, but obviously...
and there's no way known it's mud.
Robbo saw the aftermath. Tarzan gets the kick away for Carlton.
Tarzan's kick back towards centre wing. O'Sullivan and Kim Russell. Kicked off the ground by O'Sullivan. Chance there for Kelly. He's very, very strong in the body, Craig Kelly, but can't do much with the footy. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in on centre wing. Gee, the Melbourne footy fans, the footy fans all over Australia, Peter, are fantastic, aren't they? Look at them sitting out there in the crowd there with the umbrellas up. It's not heavy rain, but gee, it's tough conditions. O'Sullivan goes to Bradley. Bradley's kick nearly smothered. In goes Shane Morwood, slips over but gets the handball to Scott Russell. A neat little kick to Tony Shaw. Tony Shaw with time to steady and kick it deliberately to centre half forward. Madden, sweeping hand pass. Who did that go to? Collingwood, Lehman, Brown for Carlton. And they're in trouble, the Blues. Brown's under lots of pressure. Krasiska's gather, Barwick in there. David Kernahan, Derui on Banks. Still it comes free. Brown, left foot shot. May bounce, no. Dean gets back there into the goal square. And the Blues tidy up at fullback. The pass goes to Hannah. Hannah predictably a little bit too much to Phillips, but Phillips's kick is good and finds Bradley.
Bradley, Carlton lead to fire today. Kicks towards left half forward. Kernahan and McEwen. And McEwen doing a great job, sees the ball safely out of bounds.
The kick by Bradley probably could have been a little better to Stephen Kernahan.
Yes, and was that deliberate or not, Robbo? That knock out of bounds from Ronnie McEwen.
Monkhurst and Kernahan. A line ball decision, that one. Monkhurst finally did get a slap at it again. That was James once more. Minton Connell, who was dragged in the first quarter. David Parker ripped him off pretty quickly, but back on now. Thumped away by McGuan. Had a chance for Gaifer to do the tidying up work for Collingwood. Gaifer's kick towards the centre wing position. James, he's everywhere. Monkhurst almost dives into his back. And a real scramble out there close to the boundary line. Finally picked up by Russell, just inside the line, but it's too close. And Bradley assists him in taking it over for a throw-in.
Not getting any easier, is it?
Those legs will be pretty tired by the end of the day under these conditions. Although, let's be fair, the ground after the rain we've had is in excellent condition. Shaw's kick up towards centre wing. Umpire's found a free kick.
The Meldrum did well to get his body in front then.
Late inclusion in the side, replacing Ratton, number 7. Minton Connell took... Oh, thank you, Steve Kernahan went down. And that was totally unnecessary.
Well, I don't know whether that was a accidental one or not, Pete, because Craig Kelly threw the hand back. I don't know whether he was trying to hit the ball or not, but I might give him the benefit of the doubt there.
And well said, Bernie.
Okay. Anyway, the free kick has been given.
I think Craig Kelly's a very hard player at the football. I don't think, OK, he did one a little bit earlier that he would have been disappointed with, but there wasn't much in that.
50-metre penalty.
Steve Kernahan's kicking for goal hasn't been the best this year, Peter, either. He's kicked 17 goals, 21.
Yes, has been better. Each year he seems to have got worse. That looks all right. It's a goal. handy goal for Carlton. Kicked by Steve Kernahan. 4-1 to 2-3 at VFL Park.
Yeah, it's a very handy goal. Minton Connell flew very early for that mark. There's the man, Steve Kernahan. As we see the fly from Minton Connell, and I don't know whether Kelly was trying to knock the ball away or not. As I said, I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, you'd have
Just
to.
when the guy jumps early and gets the opponent out of the contest, is that a free kick though?
Did he jump into his back or did he just jump over the pack?
So the difference is just 10 points. Collingwood getting away, kicking 4 goals to Carlton's no goals, and the Blues have kicked the last 2. James, a good tap on. Goes to centre half forward, gathered by Minton Connell, fumbled by O'Sullivan. Now Morwood, Meldrum, Bradley goes back, and he gets his foot to the ball quickly, but at centre half back, a good mark is taken by Gaffer for Collingwood. He's just outside the 50-metre area for Carlton. He'll give the hand pass away. He goes to Kim Russell. Kim Russell's kick, centre wing, no mark taken. James coming in as McGuan. Good pressure, Arsiri. Still Collingwood may get it clear. Shane Morwood. Lehman a little too fancy in these conditions. Arsiri kick off the ground. Gathered by Francis. He's at between wing and half back. Kicks it over the wing to half forward. It clean bowls Sexton and Darui. Trying to be a little too clever. Tarzan. Banks is in there, and good stuff there by Dennis Banks. Gets it to Krasiska. Krasiska's kick is an absolute ordinary kick.
Yeah, shocking kick.
And I'm being kind a little bit to Gavin Krasiska there because...
I want to know what you were going to say.
Well, it should have been a little better, shouldn't it, Peter?
Well, it should have been a centering kick to start off with, Robbo, and you're just too fancy in these type of conditions. Wet weather play, it must be direct to the front of goal.
Gerard Healy has some news on Craig Starcevich. Gerard? All right, we'll get back to him in just a couple of moments. Banks, in the meantime, takes the kick for Collingwood. Now, that is a centering kick, a good kick under the conditions. David Kernahan knocks it clear. Well played. Hanna onto Meldrum, who excels in these sort of conditions, so not surprising that he was brought into the side. Hanna again, Minton Connell in front again, really took off a little bit too early and gets taken out of it with a good hip and shoulder. Back it comes to Brown. He loses his footing, but that's not surprising under these conditions. Very hard to try to get a clean possession. Banks once more. Oh, very solid collision. Up comes James with the ball.
I was going to say good umpiring then because I thought the umpire let it go because it was good physical stuff.
McGuan takes the hand pass. Tarzan underneath it. Barwick. Madden. Will he mark it? No, he won't. He chases after it though, just the same. And that's very close to out of bounds. In fact, it is in Collingwood's left forward pocket. With
Peter, I'm just absolutely, totally disappointed. Justin Madden, who's 6'18", should have shepherded there for Steve Darui.
They were almost fighting each other for it. And Craig Starcevich still bleeding from the nose or positions thereabouts.
Yep, that's what team play's about, isn't it, Robbo? Using your mouse and
how do you win footy games, eh?
Yeah.
Madden, Harry, as his nickname is, has the free kick. Monkhurst punches the ball clear. Bradley, a quick kick up to the square. Gaffer playing his 100th game for the Magpies. Taking a while to get there, but he's finally notched up number 100. Flipped out by Richardson. Chance for Starcevich, and his snapshot at goal won't register a score. It is out of bounds.
Gee, the pressure's terrific.
All right, let's see if Gerard can hear us now. I think the rain's got into the system. Gerard, what's the situation with Craig Starcevich?
Yes, well, he's received a nasty gash on the top of the nose. It isn't broken, but it will require stitching, but it'll have to wait till half-time.
Madden taps down. Barwick gets taken out of the contest. Richardson and Arsiri. The ball flipped out the back. Madden, a left foot kick, and taken away by Tommy Elvin.
Elvin's quick kick out towards half-back. Gaffer going back. Bradley applying the pressure. Not a bad tackle either by Craig Bradley. Still Carlton striving. They're going to be rewarded here, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a free kick to Craig Bradley for that tackle on Michael Gaffer.
What, holding the ball against Gaffer?
Holding the ball, yes. A good tackle, and he didn't get rid of it in the required fashion.
Bradley just behind the wing. Kicks towards the wing position proper. Kelly tap on. Monkhurst had plenty of time then. Oh, was that a throw? Oh, Darren. Don't have a look at that one. Lee might say something.
Oh, no. Why would you try that? Why would you try that?
Oh, it was a rugby one, wasn't it?
It was almost a rugby pass.
And Hawker's kick into the pocket. Mark is taken by Kernahan in front of McEwen.
Looks like Kernahan's now playing at full forward with Simon Minton Connell at centre-half forward.
And Kernahan is too far out to score. His kick slips off the side. There's going to be a mark taken by Kosiska at centre-half back for Collingwood. Gavin Kosiska, who's done pretty well in the early part of the game, plays on now and kicks it straight across half-back. And the mark is taken by McGuan. McGuan, who would, I think, preferably be at a greyhound meeting, but here he is playing football. And centre wing, it's been knocked out of bounds over Dennis Banks, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Dennis Banks, a great Trojan for the Collingwood Football Club.
Can't believe he didn't get a free kick there either.
No.
A high tackle.
Believe that. And Starcevic still bleeding from the mouth. Lehman's kick high. David Kernahan and Barwick off the ground. Richardson still outside 50. A chance for Dean to pick the ball up, and does well in front of Francis. Kicks into space. Gafer in front of Bradley.
Wasn't a bad free kick. Oh, what's happened?
Yeah, free kick. A free kick against Gafer for a throw. And he'll be taking the free. Craig Bradley.
Got up pretty quickly, so not much wrong with him.
No. Bradley kicks to half forward. Starting to come into his own this quarter, Bradley. That could be a good sign for Carlton. They started off with a 4-goal deficit, but they're making a much better fist of things now in this second quarter. There's no big pardons out there. Russell off the ground. Ball hit forward towards the 50-metre line. Madden tries to pick it up. Can't do so. Tony Shaw off the ground. A chance for Gavin Kosiska. A couple of players beat him for it. James diving in again. Kosiska's going to come out with the ball, so he's got the last laugh. On the line, he'll kick it this time, I think. Teddy Wooden would have been happy with. They called that the flick pass in the 60s. Dean. And it's forever immortalised in rhyming slang. Dean again and Starcevic. And the ball just sticks in the glue. Meldrum and Richardson. They must be close to out of bounds. Your idea is as good as mine as to where the dashed line is. So a throw in on centre wing.
There's a very faint line out there, Peter.
I can't see it, Robbo. Madden and Starcevic. Madden simply too tall, and he did well there, Simon Madden. Justin Madden. They both kicked their foot. And that's out of bounds. In front of Craig Kelly. Robbo suggesting it could have been in the back.
No, he didn't try very hard to keep the ball in play, though.
Saying deliberate, Robbo. It would have been a tough decision, I think.
It would have on a day like today. Chance for Carlton. It was James, I think. Or was it? No, it was Fraser Brown. And a real scrimmage developing down there, and it's going to be a bounce.
He's getting a fair bit of the football, Peter. Craig Bradley.
Doing well in this quarter, Robbo.
He's had 12 kicks for the match so far, Craig Bradley. No handballs and 1 mark.
A throw in the air at half forward for Carlton. They'll need to score from this foray up forward. Minton Connell can't control it. Shane Morwood off the ground. O'Sullivan overruns it. Now Shane Morwood. Siri the tackler. Shane Morwood's tap on. James over the top. Gafer against James.
Yep. He ducked into that, and Gafer did very well to keep the ball underneath young James. He's a very good player, only playing his 3rd game.
Oh, what a shocking kick by Gafer. Morwood holds the ball in, and this is going to be a free kick to Carlton against Shane Morwood, and it'll go to Hawker.
Yeah, pushing the back there by Shane Morwood, but just a terrible kick from Michael Gafer. And went about 2 metres, I think.
Oh dear, it was really incredible, wasn't it? And Glenn Hawker, who kicked such a good goal in the first quarter, I doubt whether he can get the distance. He's 50 metres going for the torpedo. It drops in short. Mark to Carlton, taken by Kernahan. About 12 metres out directly in front. And this man really is the impetus for the Blues. Whenever he does anything really big, the Carlton players seem to be motivated.
Yep, I agree, Robbo. People keep telling me he's had a very ordinary season, but every time I see him, he puts in 100%. Steve Kernahan, a tremendous mark, still averaging 7 marks for the season, and always takes the best player from the opposition to play on him out of their back line.
And I'm sure you know how difficult it is to play at centre-half forward.
Sure do.
Kernahan from 12 metres out, and he makes no mistake, he's kicked his 2nd.
2 goals to Steve Kernahan, 3-3 to 4-1, 4 points in favour of Collingwood.
There's 2 goals in this quarter coming to Steve Kernahan. He's kicked the only goals for the term, in fact. And we're 15 minutes into the quarter, so that's how difficult it is to kick goals at the ground today. But that is a great mark by Steve Kernahan. Strong pair of hands, wet, greasy ball, and not an easy kick because it wasn't a drop punt, it was a torpedo that went wrong.
Only 4 points the difference now after the Blues trailed by 16 at the first change. Bradley, and he really has made the difference from midfield. Hawker, a hurried hand pass. Fraser Brown, you'll have to get rid of it quickly. He does. Minton Connell could put the Blues in front for the first time, and he has! Carlton hit the lead. So Collingwood stagnating after a magnificent start. Carlton 4-3 to 4-1 at VFL Park.
Yeah, they certainly have lifted, Robbo. You look a lot happier at the moment.
But, what I was going to say, Bernie, there's nothing like a game between these two rivals to stir the blood, is there?
No, that's for sure. The two traditional rivals have been great combatants over the years. Simon Minton Connell, I think he's an exciting prospect. And Carlton players certainly celebrating after that goal.
The 203rd time that Carlton has played Collingwood. And another top contest. Back into the centre, 2 points the difference with 11 minutes to go in the first half. Collingwood got the first 4 goals, but Carlton's been the better side since, really. David Kernahan soccers off the ground, kicks it out towards the centre wing position. A real race out here, and it is going to be out of bounds just on Collingwood's side of centre. Tony Francis was the player that kicked it. Didn't really gain too many metres for his side. 10 3/4 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, they made a move, Collingwood. Mick Gafer now playing on Craig Bradley, so they're very worried about Bradley's drive out of the centre.
And Bernie, he just gets his foot to the ball so quickly, Craig Bradley. He's had something like 14 kicks in the first half, and I think it's his influence in this second quarter. Madden tries to tap it down. Barwick overruns it. Chance for Krasiska, bumped by Meldrum. Richardson can't get his kick away. James is caught with the football, and he's going to be penalised, and I thought that was a little red hot.
Yeah, pretty tough decision because he just grabbed the ball, and I thought he lost it in the tackle.
Krasiska now kicks Collingwood up to within scoring distance. Marking contest, no one can take it. Brown kicks it, good pressure. Dean and Tarzan there to help out, and they thump it over for a boundary throw-in.
You can see that they've lifted noticeably, Robbo, in this quarter, haven't they? Peter Dean there, he's one of the most magnificent defenders playing the game, I feel, week in, week out.
Very dour defender is Peter Dean. The ball over the back of the pack. Phillips can't get out. And there's no way that Paul Williams was going anywhere there. And there's a wrestle on behind play. It is Gafer and Bradley, and obviously Michael Gafer suggesting that the close checking tactics may prove beneficial on Craig Bradley. Blues by 2 points. Meldrum can't control the football, and eventually it's kicked over on the full, and it's a free kick. Well, bad luck, Tony Francis. You kicked it, and Meldrum will take the free at half-back for Carlton. Meldrum, you can see the 50-metre line there from where Paul Meldrum's kicking the football. He'll kick it towards centre wing. Marking contest, ball comes to the back. Scott Russell finding it difficult in these conditions. Gafer's caught. Kelly's handball, Shaw, quick kick. Carlton defenders go back. Ball comes through everybody. Kick off the ground by Tarzan, goes to Phillips. Phillips' kick is not too bad, but getting there too late. Hawker. Kelly marks for Collingwood. He plays on quickly, kicks it back towards half forward. Marking contest back there. It comes out to Brown. Handball Meldrum. Meldrum over the top. Phillips is in trouble. Richardson. Meldrum gets it again. Kicks it back towards centre wing. Hawker and Morwood does well. Shane Morwood takes the mark on centre wing.
He might have got a free kick anyway, Robbo. I thought he was held well before the ball got down to him. He's kicked a half forward, and a chance for the Magpie rookie. This is Lehman. 2-on-1 in favour of Carlton, and the Kernahan starring at both ends of the ground.
It looks like Gavin Brown may be playing at full forward now too, Pete.
David Kernahan hugs the boundary line with the kick. Madden, Monkhurst, and Monkhurst is the one to take the ball over. Let's go down to
free kick against Monkhurst there for flipping the ball away from the boundary umpire, wasting time.
Yes, and a good decision there. They have to put the ball down where it is, where it's gone out of bounds, and Monkhurst didn't conform with that. So a free kick to Justin Madden.
Gerard Healy.
Yes, thanks, Peter. Well, Doug Barwick's just limped off, and he's currently got ice on his hamstring. Apparently it is strained, and he will be doubtful for the rest of the game.
He's had problems in that area for some time too, Pete, so not a good sign for Doug Barwick.
Tony Shaw spins out of trouble and then spins into trouble. He's well caught by Simon Minton Connell. But the umpire obviously ruling that he didn't have a chance to get rid of the ball, and it will be balled up on centre wing. So Carlton looking to reassert their supremacy now after a very tardy start. Madden, good punch away. Tony Shaw onto Kelly. Going to be a Carlton free kick. What was that for?
Well, he's going berserk at the umpire. It looked pretty good.
He said it's a throw. I don't know how he saw it because he was positioned directly.
Look at Tony Shaw. He's gone all the way over to the umpire to let him know how disgusted he is.
And the umpire was directly yeah, that is a throw. That was a throw, but the umpire spotted it. I still don't know how he saw it from where he was positioned.
This is one of the players that made the difference. Steve Kernahan, 2 goals in this quarter. He and Craig Bradley. The last big interstate purchases by the Blues a few seasons back. Alvin was the flyer. Kelly. And that knock-on was as good as a kick, really. And there he is again, Kernahan. Was marked an errant kick off the ground and a chance for his 3rd goal. Was it far enough, Bertie?
Yes, it was, Pete. Already 5 marks to Steve Kernahan. As I said earlier, he's been averaging 7 marks a match.
Bernie, I was just going to say the flattened hands where players let the ball slip through. This guy is terrific at stopping it.
He knows a bit about the caper, doesn't he?
He
taking the marks out in front of his body.
For his 3rd goal this quarter, kick number 7 for Steve Kernahan. 45 metres out. Pretty good sort of a kick, and he's got it. It's a goal. 3 goals this quarter to Steve Kernahan, and he set the Blues alight on a dreary Melbourne day. The scoreboard showing Carlton 5-3 to Collingwood 4-1.
And Collingwood have not scored in his 2nd term. Yeah, the distance was okay, Pete, there. Steve Kernahan out in front. It was a reaction mark, in fact. It was coming pretty hard from the Collingwood defender's boot. And Steve Kernahan equal to the task. A good mark out in front of his body.
I was just going to say, Peter, that Collingwood haven't kicked a goal since the 19-minute mark of the 1st quarter. They kicked 4 goals up until that stage and haven't had it yet.
So Francis nearly gets his kick in. Fraser Brown, well tackled, and the ball spills free. Morwood over the head of Mill Hatter. He doubles back quickly. Should be able to pick it up round about centre wing. Gets taken out of the contest. Russell, that's Kim Russell. Williams was in trouble. Didn't get a clean possession. Morwood tries to barge through. Grabbed high by Glenn Hawker over the head of Russell. Gets a hurried hand pass. He might get a chance to do the same again, but it's out of bounds on centre wing in front of Darren Malone. We'll see a throw in.
Well, the checking of both sides in the physical situation is terrific.
Especially this quarter by Carlton. They've really lifted their work rate, and in conditions like these, the side that works the hardest is sure to win the match.
Tony Shaw now. Kick towards half forward. Punched away by De Rui. David Kernahan caught. In support is Dean and Bernie. You mentioned him earlier. He is always in that supporting role, Peter Dean. A real tough cut custom.
Yeah, I love the way he plays, Peter Dean. And also David Kernahan on the full-back line. Never makes it easy for the full forward.
And James beats the 2 big ruckmen and then gets a free kick for a little too high against Damien Monkhurst.
He's averaging 24 disposals a game, actually, James.
He's made a blue here. No, they're going to get out of it. Collingwood dropped the mark, and Sexton kicks Carlton up towards half forward. Now the race is on. It's in a winnable position now. Desperate stuff needed. Brown's in defence. Kernahan tackle. Kelly caught, and Brown is going to be penalised. Stephen Kernahan will take the free kick 30 metres from goal, and the Collingwood defenders not happy with Chris Mitchell.
No complaints there from Gavin Brown, though. Let's have a look. He dives on the ball. He gets up and just leaves it. He didn't attempt to knock the ball away. Kernahan was entitled to put the tackle on, and I think in the end a good decision.
And Bernie, you've suggested that his kicking hasn't been all that accurate up until now. He's kicked 3 straight. What can he do with this one?
Robbo, I pointed out that his kicking over the season hadn't been accurate. He kicked 17-21 before today.
And he kicked something like 70 goals last year. Doesn't run right up to the man on the mark, but kicks inaccurately. So his first behind is on the scoreboard, 3-1.
You moisted him, Robbo, there too.
I can assure you, Bernie, not intentionally.
5-4 to 4-1. I must admit I was the only media personality at the lunch that tipped Carlton to win. I wasn't very game, Pete. I said 4 points.
You wouldn't be game to tip against them, Robbo.
Correct.
Ball kicked out to half-back. Tony Shaw. From left half-back flank. Collingwood badly need any score because they're stagnating on 4-1. After those first 4 goals, they really have had little going for them up on the forward line. And of course, they haven't scored at all in this quarter, which has only got 3 minutes to go. Certainly been a good quarter by Carlton. Madden taps down. Monkhurst out the front. Francisca off the ground in front of the Rui. And that it is going to be a Carlton mark to be taken by David Kernahan. So as I mentioned previously, the 2 Kernahans at both ends of the ground proving real stumbling blocks to the Collingwood side at the moment. David Kernahan, a position short of just right centre wing. Brown taps down. They won't be diving on the ball too often. Morwood, Lehman, his kick is smothered. Chance for them again. Up towards centre wing. And that is going to be over the boundary line.
Interesting, Pete. Gavin Brown playing centre half back. He's just about played every position on the ground now, hasn't he, Gavin Brown, in his career?
He plays them well.
Unusual for him to be in defence.
I think he's played fullback. I stand corrected on
that. That is absolutely ridiculous. 2 big ruckmen jostling.
If you're going to pay one of those, Robbo, I could suggest that they'd have to pay them all, because they do that just about every throw-in. Richardson has the mark. Kicks to half forward. Starcevic was the target. Mullane off the ground. Slews off the side of the boot. McEwen. Brown dives on top of his opponent. And it's going to be a ball up right on 50.
They're trying to get something going, Collingwood. Ronnie McEwen on the forward line. Craig Kelly playing full back. Gavin Brown centre half back. So Lee Matthews has made plenty of changes.
So trying to get something out of the side with a minute and a half to go before half time. Some aerial ping pong. Hannah taps down. Kim Russell from a standing start kicks quickly. McEwen, great mark. Good use of the body, Robert.
Wasn't it a great mark? Pete, he just kept Kernahan out of the contest. Or was it Dean? Yes, Peter Dean he kept out of the contest. Able to get one hand to it and very quickly was able to dive and take that second grab. But Ronnie McEwen, no stranger to playing the game at full forward.
Gee, they didn't waste much time in getting him back into the senior team. Had some personal problems earlier in the season, Ronnie McEwen, and great to see him back in the Collingwood jumper. He's only about 20 metres out directly in front, and he makes no mistake. Collingwood get their 5th.
First score of the quarter, 5-4 to 5-1.
And a badly needed goal to Collingwood. Not much has been happening throughout this term. It's been Carlton's term right throughout the quarter, but let's have a look at this mark again. An excellent mark in the conditions, and a little bit of luck coming into it because the ball just carrying a little bit further. Dean doing the right thing by playing in front, and McEwen with his bulk was able to nudge him out of the contest.
So the ball up back in the centre. Phillips, only seconds left. Centre half forward for Carlton. Doing well back there. Gavin Brown for Collingwood kicks it wide, and that may be the last exchange between the 2 teams. It's at between wing and half forward favouring the Blues, and it'd be 2.5 kicks from Carlton's goal and a long way from the Collingwood goal. Madden, free kick, is going this time to Justin Madden, and I'm glad if I could work out what the umpires look for in those ruck contests, but this time it goes to Madden. He's called a play on. There's the siren. So at half time, a very interesting situation here, where Carlton have fought back. They trailed by 25 points at quarter time. They now lead by 3 points. The Blues 5-4, Collingwood are 5-1. And Steve Kernahan, who kicked 3 goals in that second quarter. There's Tony Francis, who's kicked 1, having a bit of a discussion with the umpire. But it certainly has been a terrific clash here in the first half. And you can tell by the atmosphere, the attitude of both teams, Peter, that this is a very important game for both sides.
So at half-time, less than a kick in it. Carlton in front. They kicked 4-1 in that quarter, which is what Collingwood booted in the first term, and they lead 5-4 to 5-1. Park, 34 plays 31 in favour of Carlton. Madden and Monkhurst. It's won by Justin Madden. His tap up towards the half-forward line, picked up by Kim Russell, but it's going to be a free kick to be taken for Collingwood down there by Shane Morwood. Collingwood held to 1 goal in the second quarter after a great start. They kicked 4 goals in the first 10 minutes of the match. James slaps the ball out the front, picked up by Meldrum. A late inclusion in the Carlton side. Mullane gets underneath it. Hannah beats him to it. Centering kick with the left foot. Knocked down by Kelly. McGuan should be able to do the tidying up work down there and succeeds in taking the ball over the boundary line.
Michael Christian playing at centre-half forward for Collingwood at the start of this second half. He's been picked up by Michael Sexton.
Spent the first half on the bench, did Christian. Kernahan and Kelly, no love lost between that pair this afternoon. Kernahan kicking 3 goals in a brilliant display of wet weather football in the second quarter, though. Might get another chance to add to that tally here if he can pick the ball up, which he does so. And clever kick, settles it. Tony Shaw to Darren Mullane, marking in front of Hannah. Short kick, looking for Francis. He had the ball on his chest and then lost it. Any mark today is a good one, I guess. So boundary throw in, left half forward flank. It's about 70 to 75 metres out from Carlton's goal. Madden at the back and wins it. Tony Shaw off the ground. Sullivan set himself for the mark, but it was knocked away. Sexton, a good tackle on him. There is a whistle in the meantime.
Free kick to Meldrum.
He looks like he's running with Tony Francis too, Robbo. Tagging role in the second half.
So Paul Meldrum kicks to the 50-metre line. Minton Connell up in front of a big pack of players. And the ball fisted clear. It'll be taken over the boundary line by Francis, and we'll see a throw-in.
Gee, that was a good punch from defence.
Yeah, what about Gavin Brown in defence, though? Surely he's a match-winning type of player. Would you not have him in the centre of the ground where the action is, setting up play?
I think what they've tried to do, Bernie, is get McEwen onto the forward line as O'Sullivan kicks Carlton up to full forward. Kelly in front, Kernahan from behind. Kelly knocks it close to the boundary line. Oh, Shane Morwood, gee whiz, you could be nearly penalised. No, he's going to get a free kick. Well, he just let the ball go out.
But he didn't touch it. He didn't do it deliberately.
You can still be penalised for that, surely.
Oh, I don't think so, Robbo. I think that's good defensive work, and obviously coming from a Carlton supporter, those comments, Robbo.
Shane Morwood, the kick to half back. Up over the top, James can't control it. Good pressure by Scott Russell. Tony Shaw to Gaffer. Gaffer's kick, punched away from Francis by Meldrum, collected by Francis. Looked to give the hand pass away, then elected to kick to half forward. Dean punch, but it went to the back. Krasiska in fresh gear, gets the hand pass away. Kick by Scott Russell to full forward. McEwen out in front. And Dean goes back. Derui there to give him a hand. Derui still with the football underneath. It'll be kicked back by Sexton, but a Collingwood mark back here taken by Mullane. He could nearly play on. Goes back to kick over the man on the mark. Now he's going to be forced to kick with that left foot. In towards centre half forward. Up over the pack, no mark taken. David Kernahan stands his ground. Sexton doing some good work back there. The kick is to the advantage of Hawker. Kick off the ground, the race is on at half forward now for Carlton. They've got it up there pretty quickly. Kernahan taps it on, Hawker slips over. Shane Morwood over the top. The tap, Brown slips over. Kernahan, now Hawker, who handles it well. Goes back to Minton Connell. Minton Connell's kick to the front of the goals. Bradley back there. Has Gaffer got enough skill now to... Oh, holding against Bradley? No. Play on, and it is kicked over for a boundary throw-in. And it's at left half forward for Carlton, just inside 50 metres from their goal.
Craig Bradley might have almost got his 14th kick from a free kick there. The umpire gave the Collingwood player the benefit of the doubt. Mullane right on the boundary line, attempted smothered by Hannah, not successful, and that's a great mark. Dragged in by Phillips, just inside the line. Too far out to score, be 2 or 3 kicks maybe today from there. Centering kick, Minton Connell in front, O'Sullivan. Solidly built customer. And nearly kicks out of bounds on the full, in fact has done, so it's a mark or free kick to Kelly. And Kelly's got a cross goal. On a day like today, that could have almost come unstuck. McGuan. Hand pass over the top. Effective to Tony Shaw. A well-directed kick by the Collingwood captain. To Rui. And game number 50, Arsiri, who went very high in the first quarter and has recovered okay. Carlton's only goal last week, Mark Arsiri, in the last minute of play at the Western Oval. Kernahan was the target. This could be another goal. Bradley. Kick number 14 is for full points. So Carlton goes further ahead, and the Bananas have it, obviously, 6-4 to 5-1.
It's doing it well, Carlton, and they look a lot cleaner than Collingwood at the moment. They've come out after half-time with renewed vigour. Good play by Arsiri to play on very quickly there. As he takes the free kick, the Collingwood players wanted to argue with the umpire, and Arsiri took the chance, the opportunity to play on quickly into the forward line. And there's Craig Bradley at the back of the pack cleaning up. And that's what they must not do, Collingwood argue.
Bradley's first goal and Carlton getting the biggest break they've had so far in this match. James's hand pass is effective to Fraser Brown.
Carlton into attack again. Big punch from half back by Collingwood. Kick off the ground by Phillips. Arsiri in front of McGuan. And does it pretty well. Flips it to Phillips' advantage. Hawker goes to Phillips. Phillips inside 50. A kick across to the front of the centre-half forward position. Kelly under pressure. Gayfer helping out. Look at the pressure the Carlton forwards are putting on, which is terrific stuff. Hannah into an open goal. They'll get another one. Hannah gets his first goal, and the first 2 goals of the third quarter go to Carlton, and they open a very important gap. They lead by 15 points.
Yes, that's a big gap, Robbo, and everything's been going Carlton's way since quarter time. And I think one word you mentioned there, pressure, and that's certainly been plenty of pressure applied by the Carlton forwards to keep the ball into the forward line. Not a good handball there from Michael Gayfer to Craig Kelly, who was under enormous pressure, and spilling out there to Mill Hannah, who finishes it off. But it's good to see the forwards working hard.
Madden effectively taken away by James. Lovely hand pass to Meldrum. Blues into attack, and the mark taken by Minton Connell. He's jumped for a few, hasn't got many. There's no one home in the goal square. The kick goes into that position. It bounces to the right. Kelly, oh that could be nearly penalised. It will be. And Craig Kelly, it certainly was on the cards.
I think Craig Kelly's saying, hey, I tried to knock it through for a point, but that doesn't matter because the ball went out of bounds. No attempt whatsoever to keep it in play. And if the umpires are to be consistent, there's Kelly. I think he was trying to put it through the behinds.
Hit his foot.
I'd like to see this guy try that spin kick. He has. And he's kicked the goal, I think. No, he hasn't. He's missed. Well, it's been made famous by South Australians. I think it's called a check side, isn't it, Peter?
Oh, I'm not a South Australian.
Check side punt in South Australia or a banana kick in Victoria.
Well, whatever it is, it didn't work there for Stephen Kernahan. And the Blues get their 5th behind on the scoreboard, 7-5. They lead Collingwood to a 5-1.
Magpies stagnating. 1 goal since early in the first quarter. Brown from McGuan's kick in. They need a couple here to get themselves going again. Back's got a heave-ho in the back. Nothing for it, perhaps surprisingly. Albin doesn't wait for the umpire's decision, decides to play on. That's a great mark taken by Phillips. He's taken a couple of good ones this quarter. Kernahan looking to make the lead. Torpedo punt into the goal square. He drops back. Kelly punches the ball this time out of bounds. It won't be penalised.
Good punch by Kelly in the finish. Kernahan had to sit on him then.
17 and a half minutes left in the third term. Those two will do the ruck work from the boundary throw in. As the South Australians call it a ball in while we're on the subject. Kim Russell, Lehman, Bradley. And a great second quarter in which he got
he dived on it, so he's going to be penalised. Consistent, they've been up the umpires with this all day.
Yep. Good tackle there by Scotty Russell.
Left half-back flank he is. 2 Russells on the side today. The other one, Kim Russell, the elder brother. Kick to centre wing. Sexton and Christian. McGuan. And Collingwood mount something from this charge up forward. On it goes to Mullane. Around the boundary line, the long way home at VFL Park, and he's put it out of bounds on the full. So things not going Collingwood's way at the moment.
And Bernie, you're pointing to the same thing I pointed at.
Well, I just couldn't believe that Justin Madden ran alongside Mickey McGuan and didn't even attempt to get in there and apply the tackle.
Could have had a cup of tea and a sausage roll.
Kick up the centre wing. At the back, Shane Morwood. That looked very close to a throw. The umpire lets it go. Glenn Hawker, who kicked Carlton's first goal. The only one they got in the first quarter. Bradley trying to get front position and well played. Russell's there. So too is Kelly. Looping hand pass over the top. Can Collingwood get clear? They might if Shaw can pick up the ball. Has to get around 3 or 4 of them. Looks at the umpire.
Now play on this up, I said.
And then goes ahead to take his kick. Monkhurst onto Francis. Francis's kick into space. Half forward line. Christian.
Free kick.
A good tackle on Sexton. The umpire says no free kick. Tarzan dives on it. Banks kicks the ball in play. Prasiska, a high kick. David Kernahan at the back of the pack was Ron McEwen, who started the day at full-back, now playing at full forward, obviously. Centering kick, this could be a goal to Williams. 3 metres out, and he's got it. And did they need that one? Collingwood. Williams gets up limping 7-5 to 6-1.
Yeah, they sure needed that, Pete. It's been, as you said, stagnation time for Collingwood since quarter time. And they had the opportunity to clear this away, Carlton. Didn't really work hard enough in defence. Ronnie McEwen doing well to keep the ball in front of him. Get that little kick in, maybe a little bit fortunate. And one of the bright prospects for Collingwood finishing it off, that's Paul Williams.
Carlton lead by 10 points. Very important goal for Collingwood. Phillips gets the ball out of the centre for Carlton. O'Sullivan could run onto it, but he taps it further forward. Gavin Brown gets his foot to the ball. Nick Connell's handball. Carlton are handling this wet ball a little bit better than the Magpies. Carlton mark Kernahan. Great hands, Stephen Kernahan.
Don't tell me, Robbo, don't tell me that this bloke is having a bad season. I've never seen him really play a bad game.
I'm glad you say it, Bernie, because he's got a lot of critics, and I agree with you. I think they're unnecessary critics, only because he sets such a high standard for himself.
Exactly, exactly. And to take the amount of marks that he has today, Steve Kernahan, 6 marks. We're only 11 minutes into this third quarter.
And we were reassured by the president that he will stay at Carlton, which is a good thing for the Carlton supporters. Kernahan is only about 30 metres out, directly in front, and he makes no mistake and kicks his 4th goal. So the Blues answer that Collingwood goal very quickly. 8-5-53, Collingwood 6-1-37.
And Steve Kernahan is the only multiple goal scorer in the match. In fact, with 4 goals, the best from anyone else is 1 goal from any of the other players. Steve Kernahan went to full forward. Parker moved him in that first half, and he's kicked 3 goals in the second term, and now 1 in this third quarter.
And interesting too, he just gave a little bit of a nod of appreciation to the kick that came in. Now the ball back in the centre, Madden. Or they fight over it. Phillips, and behind the scenes, James in trouble. O'Sullivan leaves it behind. Tony Shaw goes for the second option, which was Gaffer. Gaffer's quick kick, indirect football by Collingwood. They're being forced wide. And Dean takes it over, and James, still in the hands of the trainers, back near the centre circle after that clash with Andrew Phillips. He's done pretty well, the young boy, and he's now rested himself away from the trainers.
Madden taps down. Shaw and Meldrum do battle. Chance for the Blues again. And that's out of bounds on the fall against Phillips.
I think it's going to...
Or is it going the other way?
Well, I think it might have come off Mullane's foot.
I thought Phillips kicked it into Mullane.
Yes, you're right, Robbo. You're right.
The umpire doesn't know which way it's going.
Well, it was certainly touched after it left Phillips' boot.
Very interesting one. Well, the kick taken down there by Williams. Tony Shaw. In the back, or play on decision. Carlton really handled the whip ball well. Madden's hand pass to O'Sullivan. Good tackle applied by Monkhurst. Hanna, Brown, Hawker kicks inside 50. The Carlton forward line pretty open. Kernahan overruns it. Christian, Kernahan might still get it. No, he's left it for Arceri. Arceri goes goalwards and shoots, but misses.
Gee, that could have been a very, very important goal. 22 points it could have been if he'd have kicked that.
Again, Steve Kernahan applying the pressure, making the David Parker going off his brain there, Robbo.
And you wouldn't have seen much of that when you were playing for Fitzroy underneath him.
Very cool customer, isn't he?
You only heard the other end of it, is that right?
Parker more animated than he was in the first quarter when Carlton were getting a bit of a shellacking. He's certainly come to life, as his players. Phillips on the end of the hand pass, kicks up towards half forward. Minton Connell couldn't take the mark. Bradley getting ridden into the ground. A give out to Richardson. Arceri runs into trouble and had no chance of getting rid of the ball, so it does have to be a ball up.
Gee, there was some interesting situations there for the umpire, but he did it pretty well, Chris Mitchell.
The umpiring's been excellent today, Robert.
So do I agree, Pete.
Arceri again, front posse. Chance for Bradley, who had an excellent second quarter. McGuan from the left half-back flank for the Magpies. Kicks into space out on the centre wing position. All Carlton. Brown should get there first. Options was Sexton, who applies a good shepherd. DeRuy went without the ball. Wasn't perhaps the best of hand passes we've seen this afternoon. And now Krasiska, the chance to put Collingwood into attack.
Krasiska's kicked to half forward. Brown has made good position. He can run on. There's a player on his own at centre half forward. It's Williams. And it's been held up. There's a free kick going to Carlton back on centre wing. Didn't see what it was for. Maybe the player, Krasiska, ran too far with the football.
I think that's what it was, Robert.
And the Blues a little fortunate. Elvin runs on, gathers precious meterage, and his kick nearly marked by Minton Connell. Tap on. Phillips leaves it for Arsieri. Arsieri to Phillips. Phillips into an open goal, and Andrew Phillips kicks another Carlton goal.
Phillips is first, and Carlton go further ahead, 9-6 to 6-1.
Yeah, well, that was absolutely brilliant play by Carlton in these conditions. They've certainly lifted since quarter time. Their running play, their handball, their attack on the ball, their tackling of the players, the Collingwood players. They've got Kernahan at full forward. He's been now picked up by Michael Christian, and Craig Kelly playing centre-half back. Their ball handling is very good, very sure by both hand and foot.
9-6 to 6-1, so 3-5 the difference. And once again, Carlton getting the ball out of the centre, which they've done repeatedly since quarter time. Now the ball's coming back. It's going to be another Carlton free kick.
And Peter, Justin Madden's got to get a big rap in this quarter. His ruck work has been fantastic.
Kernahan and Christian. Minton Connell with the free kick. And not a well-directed one. Mullane to Tony Shaw. He certainly tried his heart out. Meldrum reads the play beautifully. No surprise that he was brought in as a last-minute inclusion. He plays so very well in the wet. Christian and Richardson are there for Collingwood. And the ball over the boundary line in the right back pocket for the Magpies.
Steve Darui coming off the ground to be replaced by Adrian Gleeson, but that was another example of Carlton's ball handling, Robbo, with Paul Meldrum taking that a fantastic gather and driving it deep into the forward line.
Christian and Kernahan do battle at the boundary throw-in. Mullane and Hannah. Phillips. And the ball over the boundary line in front of O'Sullivan and Francis for a throw-in. 10 and 3/4 minutes left in this quarter. Since quarter time, though, Carlton has been the better side after they were outscored 4-1 to 1-3 in that quarter. Good wet weather football by the Blues. They've adapted much better. Mullane from a standing start right on his own defensive 50-metre line. There's Gleeson. As Bernie mentioned, just come back onto the ground. Scott Russell at right centre wing for Collingwood. Now their forward line is pretty open. And they need to take a mark there. Williams. Beautiful football from the Tasmanian. Bit of class about this fellow. But Tarzan.
Free kick to David Kernahan, held by McEwen on the jumper.
So twice they've had a break up there in this quarter. Only to see a free kick go to Carlton.
The other move, Pete, I was talking about earlier, Gavin Brown had been playing at centre-half back. He's now playing at centre-half forward.
Free kicks 35 to 22 in favour of the Blues. Alvin comes down with the mark. He was the one that certainly read it best. And this is Sexton at centre-half back.
And he's done pretty well, Michael Sexton. Kick wide to the wing. Shane Morwood taps it further afield. Chance for McGuan. Brown in there for Carlton. Tries to get the hand pass out towards Dean. Williams in there for Collingwood. So is Lehman. And the ball forced over by Dean, and he gets a pat on the head from Craig Bradley, because the Blues' attitude has been about 400% better than last Sunday against Footscray.
And now Craig Kelly has been taken from the ground. He was playing centre-half back, being comprehensively beaten by Steve Kernahan.
Madden to Brown to Gleeson, and eventually Gleeson, well, Krasiska is being penalised for a push on Adrian Gleeson.
And Starcevic playing centre-half back.
Gleeson, who's started on the ground but spent a lot of the game on the bench. Starcevic marks defensive side of the centre, goes to Gaffer. Gaffer, who's not a real good kick with his right foot, is forced to kick with the left. The ball close to the boundary line. Gaffer again, he's hemmed in, gets the handball back. Richardson, oh, good pressure by Brown. Opens the door for O'Sullivan. He sprints away. Powerful legs, Luke O'Sullivan. Kick to full forward. Goes through the back. It's a free kick to the big centre-half forward from Carlton. The advantage, not paid, it must come back to Stephen Kernahan.
Well, that's all coming from that smother there from Fraser Brown. He saved 100 metres, or he gained 100 metres, 50 metres from the kick that he smothered, and 50 metres of the kick went into that forward line. So that's a value of the hard work, the smother. And Steve Kernahan out in front, prepared to put his body in front, go for the marks, and got the shove in the back.
And what a great game he's played. He's kicked 4 goals, and Peter's already mentioned that he's the only multiple goal scorer on the ground. And out of 9-6, certainly is a great captain's effort. Too far out, I would think. Lovely kick. And it's just touched by Justin Madden. It was probably going to miss, but gee, it was a good kick.
especially in view of the conditions, although much better than many other grounds would be, like the Western Oval this afternoon. The ground has had a lot of money spent on it. Christian and Kernahan having a bit of a wrestle again, or pushing and shoving match. Tony Shaw has to double back. James, who was in the hands of the trainers not long back, seems to have recovered okay. Milhana, an up and under kick towards half forward. Bradley was the fire for Carlton at the back. Madden's had a magnificent quarter. Can't get the ball out from this scrimmage though, and it's going to be a ball up about 35 metres out directly in front of Carlton's goal. 7.5 minutes left in this term.
There's 22 hit-outs to Madden and only 10 to Monkhurst.
He's grabbed high there. Madden could get a free kick. It's going the other way.
Oh, that is absolute. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Peter.
Well, I saw what you saw, Robert.
Oh, mate.
It is hard to understand. This is Lehman from left half-back flank for Collingwood. And Gavin Krasiska, who was penalised a few minutes back for running too far with the ball, maybe a little harshly, and the conditions that we're seeing today. No edge out there. Hawker might have got him to the back of his opponent though, but nothing for it. Shaw around James. A high kick, travels only about 25 metres. Tarzan and Francis. Francis ducks back, and it's a wrestle for the ball between those two players. Finally picked up by Brown. A high kick, and Gleeson, who's just come back onto the ground a few minutes back, takes a very courageous mark.
Pete, a couple of the Collingwood players changed their gear at half-time. It's a bit embarrassing they haven't dirtied it in the second half.
Thank you, Bernard. Milhana. Oh, good soccer tactics. Been watching some of the round ball code, obviously. And a fine tackle applied down there by Monkhurst. And finally, Collingwood going to be rewarded with a free kick.
It's amazing, isn't it? He kicked it off the ground, and then when he tried to pick it up, there was nothing he could do with it. He was trying to make the play, but good play by Damien Monkhurst.
Right on centre wing. 6 minutes to go in the quarter. Collingwood need a couple of goals before three-quarter time if they can be competitive in the last term. Banks, well, he shone out in the first quarter when the Collingwood forward line was functioning. Haven't seen much of him since. Again, too far out to score. And that's a good pass. Darren Mullane marks right on 50.
Well, very static though, Pete.
Yes. And it might come unstuck. It does. Yep. Tommy Alvin.
Yes, very slow to get the ball into the forward line, Collingwood, and that gave Carlton plenty of time to get back and cover their opponents.
And Alvin decides to go for a run. He'll go across the ground, more open space out there. Got a couple of targets. David Kernahan has won in front of McEwen. Off the ground, Gleeson may get there first. He'll get there second, but he might get the ball. McEwen, David Kernahan looks for a free kick.
Going to get it.
Oh, gee, that's harsh. And Alan McAllister, the Collingwood president, looks on perhaps disgusted.
Well, I think all the people, the players in particular, but the people need is consistency, Peter. And if a player dives on the ball, the umpires are instructed to give the free kick against him.
True.
And I guess it's difficult in these conditions, but all you need is consistency. Phillips falls over, handball, Brown, running with the ball, gets the hand pass away. Tony Shaw caught, but got the sneaky little hand pass to Starcevic, and he does pretty well, but what a great smother by Brown. And desperate stuff by Fraser Brown.
That's a second great smother by Fraser Brown in this quarter.
And look, there you are, Bernie.
Yep.
When you see players come in like that.
That's team-lifting stuff, and they certainly appreciate that. And Fraser Brown's doing all the hard works in this third quarter, and Carlton are really reaping the dividends.
Half forward for the Blues. Madden and Monkhurst at the back. Gafer gets his foot to the ball, kicks it out towards centre wing, attacking at Sexton. There is Alvin. Off to Gleeson. Gleeson, who's had a good rest. Kick is not bad. And Bond, who's a fresh player on the ground, marks wide of centre.
He's replaced Milhana, Robbo, who's off the ground.
Runs close to the man on the mark. Ball comes to the back. Will it stay in for Arceri? And eventually may have kicked it out on the full no. It was trundled over the boundary line and about 45 metres from the Carlton goal. There's Milhana. And perhaps the player's a little uncertain there about what's happening.
Yes, I was just going to say all Lee Matthews has done today is try to plug gaps since quarter time, because certainly nothing much has happened, and he's moved the players all over the ground trying to get something moving.
Francis has kicked very close to the boundary line. I'll wait and see if that's out on the full. And it is, because Tom Elvin's going to take... No, it's not.
No.
It was a good bluff. Well done, Tom. You fooled. So boundary throw-in. And it's going to be Madden and Monkhurst. Oh, beautiful palm out. That it went to Arceri. O'Sullivan was in there, and some tunnel ball. Comes back to Bond, who's just come on the ground. That was from James. Started off in magnificent fashion. Kim Russell, Francis. There's a ball that would needed to be won. There might be a free kick here.
Collingwood are fortunate then, I think. O'Sullivan was away with the football. That's the only thing I'm saying, Peter.
Francis from centre half back for the Magpies. They need some goals quickly. Morwood's the target. Got met a little bit high. Gleeson. Carlton winning the hard ball. There's Fraser Brown again over to James. James has had a great game. Meldrum inside 50, unchallenged, runs into an open goal and kicks off target and through for only one behind. So a further point to the Carlton side. 9-8-62, 6-1-37.
All the scoring, Peter, I was going to say again, going Carlton's way in this quarter. Only one goal kicked by Collingwood. That was by young Paul Williams. And a pretty morose-looking Collingwood coaching group there in the box.
Since quarter time, in fact, since halfway through the first quarter, Carlton has looked the better side. They've done most of the scoring through that man there. Steve Kernahan. Gleeson gets met pretty heavily as he went for the ball. Now Collingwood can mount something at this possibly. Tony Shaw, who's been their best crumb gatherer today, kicks to half forward, but all to no avail because Tom Alvin's in the road in front of McGuan, and a good clearing kick gets the ball back to centre wing. Marking contest, none can take it. Krasiska at the back. Now Collingwood a chance perhaps now to do something with it. They get a marking contest, but the Carlton defence has been magnificent. Tarzan taps into the open spaces.
And a kick off the ground. Coming there from Brown. A real struggle, Bond. And he's interfered with by Williams. Perhaps a little technical, but certainly Bond keeping his footing as Marr got the free kick at half-back. Fraction slow to move it, but the kick is not bad. Centre wing, punched away. Chance now for Richardson. Kick doesn't go too far. The flip on. Francis has caught. Good tackle, Arsieri. Chance Meldrum gets his left foot to the ball quickly. Centre wing. Ball comes to the front. Nearly O'Sullivan. Kick off the ground. Richardson goes to Meldrum. Meldrum's kick, and he was interfered with after he kicked the ball.
Very lucky.
Again, a little technical, Bernie.
Very technical. Lucky to get that free kick.
Kernahan, he'll have to move it quickly. The pass is not bad. Out in front of Minton Connell. He gathers it well. Goes back to James, who fumbles. Goes back to Minton Connell from 50 metres. Simon Minton Connell. Hawker over the back. No one can get to it. Hawker, you've interfered with your opponent. And the free kick will go to the Collingwood defender. And in this instance, it is Shane Morwood. 9-8 play, 6-1. We're within 38 seconds of the three-quarter time siren, and I'm sure that Shane Morwood, he's looking a little bit draggled, and he'd like that siren to sound. The kick goes to half-back on his member's side. Mullane marks strongly on his chest, and he may kick it out now. Certainly now, the score will probably stand. Seconds ticking away. 50-metre penalty brings Mullane up towards the point of the square. His kick slews off the side. Gleeson underneath it can't mark. Back there is James. A quick kick wide to the wing. That's James now. A kick came from Brown. Opportunity for Francis. Handball goes to Christian. Christian goes to Tony Shaw. Tony Shaw now. Kicking towards half forward. No mark. There's the siren. And boy, the Blues may have been a little lucky. The kick, it's all over. The score will not count. The score surely will not count. And that's the way the field umpire sees it. Carlton 9-8 at three-quarter time, lead Collingwood 6-1.
AFL Park, Carlton leading by 25 points after they trailed by 16 at quarter time. Certainly the job ahead of Collingwood to try to get back into this match. They'll be trying, believe me. Tony Shaw trying to set the example. Played a magnificent third quarter, probably was Collingwood's best player. Alvin and Krasiska through the legs of Morwood. Picked up by Fraser Brown. And back to Meldrum. In turn over to Phillips on right centre wing. Carlton's use of the wet ball after quarter time really has been exceptional. Hawker, who did kick their first goal. Kernahan. Tony Shaw. Kicks across his body. Gleeson. That's a good kick with the new ball. Arsieri in front has it knocked away by Kim Russell. Arsieri again gets the hand pass to O'Sullivan. The two Carlton players collide. Arsieri went over the top. The ball socked away by Russell. Leeson may get there first on centre wing. He does so. Tried for Sexton. He might get a free kick. He will get a free kick.
Yes, he gave the hand pass away and then was held afterwards.
This is Phillips, still inside the centre square. What you can see of it, the rain has just about washed all the paint away. Minton Connell, not a good hand pass, almost intercepted down there by Lehman, who decides to go off the ground. Collingwood need some goals quickly if they're to stay in this contest. And Lehman again finally picks up, and Starcevic takes the mark.
And Starcevic would be at half-back for Collingwood. And it's a big ask for them. They've got to outscore Carlton by 5 goals or 4 goals. And they haven't been able to do that in the previous 3 quarters. And when the bodies are tired, by gee, that becomes a very, very big task. Kick by Francis, marked by Sexton, and this boy is growing with confidence.
Yes, he's done a great job at centre-half back, but the other move Matthews has made, Morwood is now playing at centre-half forward.
Elvin take the handball from Madden, the ball at the centre. It's in a winnable position. Hurried out of it was Shane Morwood by Gleeson. Kick off the ground by Bradley. Good play, Hawker. Sneaky hand pass. Tarzan, tap on. Minton Connell at centre-half forward. Crunch was a little bit too severe, but Gaiffer's able to break the Arsiri tackle. And there's the skill level of Collingwood just really being found out. Gaiffer not being able to kick with that left foot. Dennis Banks now. Kick towards centre wing. No mark taken. Ball slips through the back. Sexton. That greasy ball now is very difficult to handle. Oh, he's hurried out of it by Shane Morwood, but the free kick is given to Phillips. Collingwood supporters are most annoyed. The free kicks so far have been 41 to Carlton and 27 to Collingwood,
well,
so maybe they're justified.
That was fortunate, I think, to get that free kick. Very lucky, Carlton.
Alvin, yes, Morwood seemed to be going straight for the ball. Seemed to have that in mind anyway. Umpire's decision. Shaw, short kick. Ooh, bounces just inside the boundary line and finally rolls over in front of Krasiska and O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's sideboards almost out of the 60s there, aren't they? Very long, 9-8 to 6-1.
You weren't game to mention anyone in case you gave your age up, Pete.
Thanks, Robbo. About the same as yours, isn't it? Kick up the half forward. Fresh air shot. Leaves it open for Russell. That's Scott Russell. Looks for Morwood. Might find him if the ball sits okay. It does. Oh, he's in trouble now. There is no one there to give backup support. O'Sullivan again. Lovely little lad. Marking contest. Bradley, who had a brilliant second quarter. Picked up 7 kicks. Gaiffer was then moved on to him. Minton Connell getting ridden into the ground. Looks for a free kick. Didn't get one from the umpire. Lehman tackled well by Fraser Brown.
Well, Dennis Banks played it pretty well in the finish, getting that free kick.
Banks at left half-back flank, in fact, right on the boundary line. Kicks up the centre wing. Krasiska, a nice turn. A little spiral punt kick, but it only travels about 35 metres. Alvin. And Francis, or Alvin held when he didn't have the ball. Sexton. Kicks it quickly up the centre wing. Bouncing ball favours Minton Connell. A clever tap out wide to the running Phillips. And Phillips goes long. Plenty of open space on the forward line. The target was Arsiri. Kernahan tried to get it back to him second time over the head of Kim Russell. Gaiffer, Russell again, Kernahan and Richardson. Hawker, Carlton's first goal kicker this afternoon, finds O'Sullivan on his own around Scott Russell, kicks a goal, but he might be off target and puts it through for only one behind, but he might get another kick.
Another kick, yes, Pete. Sullivan.
He has the option.
Oh, well, there's not much worry about what he'll be doing, Luke O'Sullivan. He'll be taking that shot at goal. Interesting, Peter, since quarter time, Carlton have kicked 8 goals, 5, and Collingwood have kicked only the 2 straight goals. And there's a free kick. Very good acting there by Luke O'Sullivan.
Pretty soft, wasn't it?
A very soft free kick.
Well, I remember Malcolm Blight having a vital kick in the wet at North Melbourne at Arden Street years ago. He had to kick a point, and he kicked it out of bounds and got nothing, and Hawthorn won the game. Conditions here are a little bit better, though. Luke O'Sullivan, kick number 10. 40 metres out, directly in front. That was a better kick, and that's just about the ball game. O'Sullivan puts it through for his first goal. Carlton's 10th, the Blues 10-8, Collingwood 6-1 at VFL Park.
Well, if it was ever in doubt, it certainly isn't now, because Collingwood just have not been able to score. Let's have a look at that free kick again. And Scotty Russell, gee, he hardly touched him. Luke O'Sullivan making the most of it, throwing himself around, and that's what the umpire saw. And I think if a player does that, he's more likely to get the free kick.
So Carlton lead now by 31 points, and in what looked as though it was going to be a close tussle, it may be a good win for the Blues. O'Sullivan worried out of it by Dennis Banks. The lights are on here at VFL Park as Hannah collects the football forward of the wing. Left foot kick by that player into the pocket. Kernahan gets Christian out of it. Little kick off the ground. Phillips can't get past Kim Russell. Christian. And what's the umpire going to do here?
Holding the ball decision, I think. Or is it a ball up?
I think he's going to throw it in the air, isn't he? Umpire John Russo and umpire Chris Mitchell. That was a little difficult to follow because there really wasn't much stoppage of play. The ball was trundled out and was going over the boundary line. So he balls it up about 25 to 30 metres from the Carlton goal. James, kick across his body, and Minton Connell nearly marks. Brown falls over. Back there is Lehman. Brown still there. Phillips, kick to the pocket. Christian gives away a behind to the Blues. And that man named Rushed scores his first behind for the day. 39,832 people here at the park to watch this game between Carlton and Collingwood.
So Christian kicks in, 18 and a half minutes left in the match, and Madden takes the mark. One of his Carlton teammates was taken high there too, might have got a free kick. Bradley's kick at goal, won't quite make the distance. At the back, Minton Connell will go off the ground and gets another one, his second. So if it wasn't the ball game before, it certainly is now, folks. 11-9 to 6-1.
Yes, it's really hasn't been a good performance at all by Collingwood, but full marks to Carlton. They've had the answers to everything Collingwood's thrown at them. As I said earlier, Lee Matthews has really just been trying to plug gaps all afternoon, moving players all around the ground. Gavin Brown from one end of the ground to the other. Craig Kelly from centre-half back, full-back, and now he's sitting on the bench.
Minton Connell second, 18 minutes left in the match, 75 to 37. So Carlton will certainly make amends for their demise last week at the Western Oval. And Collingwood's run of outs will continue. Magpies really will have to regroup. Almost forget about the finals this year. Morwood kicks up towards full forward. David Kernahan, Mullane. Mullane will have to play on. Centering kick, Tarzotter's there. And the ball beats him and Ron McEwen with David Kernahan over the boundary line for throw-in.
Peter, they've kicked 2 goals in this last quarter, Carlton, and you said that was the ball game. Would you have backed Collingwood at 3-quarter time?
No, I would not have.
9-8 to 6-1?
No, I would not.
I think they had a big job in front of them. Monkhurst in the forward pocket doing the ruck work. Gleeson gets it out for Carlton. McGuan is there for Collingwood, 50 metres from goal. He goes through Bond's tackle. Left foot kick by McGuan. Up towards the squares, not a bad kick. Madden's back there. Tries to tap it down a little fancy on Phillips. Scott Russell may be worried out of it. Eventually Gleeson underneath the pack. Umpire still allowing play to go on. Now a chance for McEwen. Gets his left foot to it. David Kernahan tries to punch the ball away. Sexton does. Phillips is still back there working hard. Gleeson close to the boundary line. It eventually goes over. And the umpire calls for a throw in. And all players are to be congratulated. It's been very, very tough out here at Waverley this afternoon. A chance for Phillips to kick it back out. Sexton, very tired. No, it's Justin Madden, rather. 30 metres from the Collingwood goal. And Damien Monkhurst, doesn't he look exhausted? And neither one of them can get away from that situation. The big men, and a wry smile on Damien Monkhurst's face. They both go into that clinch again. And Madden gets the tap out. McEwen, left foot kick by that player. Chance now for Tony Shaw. McGuan, shot for goal by Mick McGuan is a Collingwood goal. Mick McGuan gets his second, and that is their 3rd goal since the 19-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yes, Mickey McGuan, the only Collingwood player to kick more than 1 goal also. As we see this in replay, interesting, Mullane did suggest during the week that Collingwood could be suffering from a premiership hangover, and that certainly has shown out today.
Madden tries to get it to Phillips, chipping in Francis, dispossessed by James, but the umpire calls for a bounce. Michael James has had 11 kicks and 9 hand passes, playing in the centre. He had 7 kicks in the first quarter, so he's been relatively quiet, but his hand passes have been pretty constructive. Francis gets the ball out for Collingwood, out to the point of the square, kick off the ground by Tarzan. Gleeson beaten for it by Russell. Russell's kicked the centre-half forward, and is that a mark?
Gee.
It's been paid to Williams.
Yeah, I think he stole that, didn't he, Robbo?
Well, I thought Meldrum had his hands on it.
I
But,
thought he got the first touch to it, actually, Paul Meldrum. Let's have a look at that again. Into Meldrum's hands, maybe? No, I think it could have been a good grab there to Williams, looking at that in replay.
only 17 years of age. Paul Williams, he certainly has. And it's a tough job for youngsters to play football in these conditions. Beautiful kick. Oh, what a great kick. What a magnificent goal.
Williams' second goal. Collingwood second this quarter. 11-9 to 8-1.
Yes, that was a brilliant kick there from the young fellow, Paul Williams, the Tasmanian, ex-Tasmanian. As we look at this mark again, he stole the mark to start off with. A very good grab there, going with the flight of the ball, and there's a kick right on the 50-metre line. He's carried that distance easily over the heads of the players. So maybe a little bit of hope for Collingwood. I don't think so. 75 plays 49 at the moment, but Collingwood supporters ever optimistic.
26 points the difference, 15 minutes left in this match. Well, you have to be optimistic in football. Krasiska slaps on. Morwood should go off the ground, and Dodo, he had a fresh air shot virtually. And kicked away for Carlton by Tarzan to the edge of the square. Kelly dives on it, or was he tripped and fell on it? It was the latter option. And so Craig Kelly kicks back towards midfield. Collingwood can get a couple more, might make it interesting. It's a rather big ask. Meldrum, Morwood, Krasiska kicks from a standing start. Mullane is the target in front, tried to take it on the chest, which was the right thing to do. And the ball out of bounds. That was from Tarzan again. One of the Carlton rookies, Carlton Brains Trust.
Played football with North Melbourne under-19s last year and was picked up in the March draft.
Madden, best big man on the ground, Shaw. One of the best small men on the ground. Here's McGuan in for another one, and gets it. 2 goals in a row to Mick McGuan. The scoreboard in the park, a little bit of respectability to the Collingwood total, 11-9 to 9-1, 20 points the difference.
Yes, one would still expect that the task would be on Collingwood to get back into this match, but this has given them a glimmer of hope, I would suggest, Robbo.
You get the feeling maybe they've just lifted a little bit and Carlton have dropped their work rate just a fraction?
Well, maybe they thought, as we did, that the game was all over, and you just cannot afford to do that.
So the game gets a little bit of life. Collingwood supporters finding voice. Scoreboard showing 11-9 to 9-1. Still 20 points in it. 13 3/4 minutes still to go.
Madden still getting the tap-outs, but Carlton probably not handling the ball as cleanly as they did in that third quarter. Monkhurst taps the ball forward. Shane Morwood has made a bit of a difference. Tarzan gets the kick away. Doesn't go very far, but Elvin gets it to Arsiri, and Arsiri gets the Blues to half forward, and James takes the good mark, running with the flight of the ball. Michael James knows where the footy is. Kicking a little short. Kernahan, what a good mark over the top. He's outside 50 metres. He kicks it into the forward pocket, and at least it is in the right forward pocket for Carlton. A long, long way away from the Collingwood goal.
Yes, I don't think he'd be too unhappy about that, Robbo. He's kept the ball at least in the forward line. Maybe a centering kick would have been better, but maybe that also would have given Collingwood a chance to clear the ball across the goal face. Switch play down the other
Phillips
side of the ground.
in the back. No. Umpire calls for a ball up about 25 metres from the Carlton goal. Stephen Kernahan being asked to do the ruck work. Justin Madden just back outside 50 metres. Now a chance for Collingwood. Gaffer pushed off it. O'Sullivan. Strong. Brown. Handball nearly went under. He gets after it again. Gives it across to Bond. Bond, unselfishly. Arsiri gathers it. Handball over the top. Into the pocket. Scott Russell gets back. Minden Connell. Arsiri's kick. Good. Gleeson marks about, 40 metres from goal. And for a player who spent probably the second and third quarters on the bench, Adrian Gleeson certainly has lifted, and he's had something like 8 possessions in the last, 20 minutes of play. Gleeson's kick to the goal square. It's touched right on the line by Christian, and it goes through for one behind to the Blues. So again, importantly for Carlton, with just under 12 minutes left, it's in their forward area.
Kelly kicks into Richardson, who kicks the ball across his body very close to the boundary line. Brown and also Bond, and Brown has come up with the ball, but he's not going to get the kick. It's been pretty quiet after half-time.
Looks as though he might be favouring his left leg, Gavin Brown.
That might be the reason. Madden at Monkhurst. The wrestle continues. Monkhurst got a slap at it. Didn't get a kick. Brown might get one here. I think he's the man on the bottom of the pack. He is. Gavin Brown kicks to half forward, and Richardson from right on centre wing. Collingwood would need to get something moving here. Gee, I thought that was a mark.
Paid.
Bradley hasn't given away too many hand passes today, but he's got 17 kicks, in fact no hand passes.
Well, a great second quarter by Craig Bradley too, Pete. 9 kicks in that second quarter.
He was the player that got them back into it, Bernie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sure did.
When Collingwood got those early 4 goals, and Bradley came to life in the second term, and they were back in business. Tony Shaw from centre field, nice ball. Lights really shining out here now at the park. Sexton was the man to do the flying, down to Fraser Brown. Some of his work has been good in the clinches today. Bond sees the ball over the boundary line in front of Gavin Brown, and it'll be thrown in on centre wing. 10.5 minutes left in this match. Collingwood making a late charge. Carlton still in the box seat, and we'd expect them to win from here. Madden, who's really rucked very, very well this afternoon. Tony Shaw's intercepted a lot of his knockouts, and the mark is taken by one of the veterans in the Collingwood lineup, and Dennis Banks. Kicks to space. Christian, haven't seen much of him today. Spent the first half on the bench, of course. Bradley in front. Can't take the mark. Oh, did beautifully then, Bradley. Knocked back by Arsieri. Fine tackle, Williams. Now it goes to Lehman. Collingwood lifting their work rate, but it's probably not going to be good enough. A little bit too late. Brown. Was he grabbed when he didn't have it? Bond dives on top of it. It's a hard ball to win out there. Krasiska finally gets a hand pass, and the heave-ho in the back, one would have thought, and he'll take the free kick.
Well, eventually a free kick had to be picked out of it. Players showing tremendous desperation as Gavin Krasiska kicks Collingwood up towards full forward. No mark taken. Can they stand up? Now difficulty for Bradley, but he's beaten for it by Williams. Good play by the youngster, and he's still got a chance. No, he can't get away there from the strong Carlton defence. Experience of Meldrum, Alvin and Hannah hold the ball in for the Blues.
You've noticed there, Robbo, 5 Carlton defenders prepared to run in and make up the numbers, make it very difficult there for Paul Williams.
Ball up in the forward pocket for Collingwood. Madden, James is dispossessed. Monkhurst, ball close to the line. Mullane, what can he do? Manufacture something out of nothing. Kick into the square. David Kernahan, maybe he's given away a behind. What did that do? Hit the behind post? Yes, it did. And it'll be a boundary throw in the right forward pocket for Collingwood. 11-10 to 9-1.
Sorry, Robbo, another top game by David Kernahan. I don't think he's had a goal kicked on him today.
I think Robbo's word is unspectacular or unfashionable, isn't it, Robbo, for those sort of guys?
Well, it certainly is. He's just an old-fashioned defender who minds his man and makes it difficult for him, the opponent, to get a kick.
The sort of players that coaches love to have in the side too. Shaw on the bottom. Francis. Brown. That was almost too high. A lot of desperation. Players of both sides in there. Looked almost like a rugby scrum, and finally it comes to a halt.
And good stuff by the umpire again. Not picking a free kick out. There could have been 2 or 3 maybe
easily
touchy ones, but he comes in to ball it up.
25 metres out from goal, 7 3/4 minutes left, 21 points the difference. Madden and Monkhurst down to Tony Shaw again, off the ground, and Bradley lets it go through for one behind. Now another point to the Magpies.
Actually, talking about attitude, if their attitude had been as good in the third quarter as it has been in this last quarter, Collingwood maybe wouldn't be looking at the deficit that they faced about, halfway through this last quarter.
Only their second behind of the match. The first one coming in the first quarter when they kicked 4-1. It looked a much better combination than they did in the second and third terms, when Carlton got right on top. That was just about a throw. And Shaw again from right centre wing. Marking contest, Mullane at the bottom of it. That's a good long kick under the conditions. Richardson and Bradley, and Richardson, great mark!
Certainly was, Peter.
Yes, tremendous mark, Pete, wasn't it, by Richardson in the goal square. With the flight of the ball, he had a player very close to him. That was Craig Bradley. And put the hands out and just stuck there. And this is a certain goal coming up to Collingwood.
Well, you would think so from there. And he gets it. Richardson gets his first goal. And the Magpies 10th, 11-10 to 10-2.
Well, it's only 14 points the difference, but not much time left on the clock. 6 minutes 42, in fact. Darren Mullane, who kicks a long bomb into the goal square, around the corner. And a bit of body work there. Richardson on Bradley. He was just able to keep Bradley out of the contest. And in these very wet and greasy conditions, it's a tremendous mark there to Richardson.
Magpies making a late charge. One sort of feels that they've left their run a little bit too late. 14 points the difference, so they need 3 goals. And under these conditions, that's a pretty tall order. McGuan off the ground. It's a race between Krasiska and Tarzan. Magpie slaps it off the ground. Bradley's there. Mullane cattons into him. Needs some backup support up forward. Can the Magpies get another goal? Dean, a good safe defender, and he'll take plenty of time with his kick.
Dean's kick is short, and the mark is taken by Phillips. And Carlton really need to get a bit of a hurry on, because it's still plenty of time for Collingwood. 6 minutes left. And what do they trail by? 14 points, 11-10 to 10-2. Their kicking has been good in these conditions. Madden in front, taken by Brown, picked up by Christian. Difficult. Kick there from Gleeson, marked by James. Handball wide, Hannah. Ran onto the right foot. He usually gets good distances, Mill Hannah. Kick to half forward, Arsiri and Kim Russell. Kick off the ground by Brown. Minton Connell, can he kick another one? He does. So that certainly will be Carlton's breather.
Second this quarter for Minton Connell. The other one was off the ground. 12-10 to 10-2.
There's 3 goals for the match. They've had the 2 forwards there capable of doing the job. Stephen Kernahan's kicked 4 goals. Simon Minton Connell has kicked 3 goals. And they haven't had any Collingwood players on the forward line capable of matching these 2 players. A good kick there. He kept it low and kicked it hard. And that's all you need to do in these conditions, because the ball will run truly. And it'll just slide off the ground. Simon Minton Connell, a good performer on the day for Carlton.
So the Blues getting that very important 12th goal. They lead again by 20 points. In comes Lehman, strong. Kicks Collingwood to half forward, but the mark is taken by Bradley. The ultimate professional, Craig Bradley. 18 kicks, not messing around with hand passes in these very awkward conditions.
Hasn't given away any.
And his kick finds Andrew Phillips, who in the first quarter did not have 1 kick. So in 3 quarters, or nearly 3 quarters of football, he's picked up something like 21 possessions. Ball on centre wing, and it's thumped over. And there's a man who won't get too many credits with stats, but by geez, worked very hard in and under the packs at Waverley this afternoon.
Not bad though, Robbo. 9 kicks, 11 handballs, and a couple of those smothers that he put on in that first half were just magnificent.
Shaw's kick to a big pack of players. Sexton. His high kick is out of bounds on the full. Nice soccer work again from Mill Hannah.
Now, what could have happened there? Could he have been given 50 metres for wasting? By kicking it over into the crowd?
That was going through my mind actually at the time, Robbo, because that was unnecessary there by Hannah.
Banks takes the kick. Had it been a little bit further over the line, I think he probably would have been penalised. McGuan has kicked a couple of goals to bring Collingwood back. McEwen keeps the ball in play, and that was cleverly done. Can they get one here? Richardson again has the kick smothered, and it's out of bounds in front of Kernahan and McEwen for a throw-in right next to the behind post.
Gee, McEwen nearly manufactured something out of nothing then.
He did. 4 minutes to go. 20 points the difference. That look perhaps tells the story of Collingwood's demise, not just today, but in the past month. But Madden's been brilliant. Mullane can't get clear. There's just too many players to try to barge your way through there, no matter how strong you are. Mullane is one of the strongest.
That tackle again applied by David Kernahan.
Last year's premiers having a pretty rough trot. not the first team to find the following year difficult. And he keeps it straight out of bounds. That was predictable, I guess, under the circumstances. Madden?
I don't think he's trying to do anything else at the moment.
No.
33 hitouts to Justin Madden, and Monkhurst has had 12 hitouts, so he's completely dominated the ruck.
And Collingwood get a goal. Williams, I think he's run out of bounds with it. He has. But there is hardly a player at the other end of the ground. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 only. And all of them down there on Collingwood's forward line. So Carlton stacking their defence. A logical and predictable tactic. Morwood, short kick. Mullane just about a throw to Williams. That's out of bounds. On the full this time. And it will be a free.
Actually, that's a bit of justice there, Pete, wasn't it? Darren Mullane.
Yeah.
It really was a throw. The umpire couldn't see it, and eventually Paul Williams kicking it over on the full. So
There's been plenty of those today, Robbo, too, hasn't there? Very
yes,
doubtful hand passes.
That's right. But it must be difficult, Bernie, with the ball hard to handle.
So Albin takes the free kick. Clock ticking down to what will be now a certain Carlton win. James, Bradley. Is that Bradley's first hand pass for the afternoon to O'Sullivan? O'Sullivan kicks to centre wing.
Well, we've given him a nice old bake, so I suppose he's done well to give one away. Hannah can't control it. Arsiri, Tony Shaw the tackler. Gleeson just tries to get a little kick, but now he's forced to hand pass. Hannah, oh, he slips. Harassing work, McGuan. Bond, can he find some space? Bond's kick is good. Arsiri's on his own. Oh, he's dropped the sitter. And a kick off the ground by Francis. Still Francis in the contest. Good play, Tony Francis, because he had to have, first of all, chase Arsiri and then beat Stephen Kernahan, and he's pushed it over for a boundary throw-in. And he's been pretty good, Tony Francis, for his side this afternoon. Monkhurst in front, tries to get the tap down, but really it's a scramble now. There's not much productive football being shown now. All the boys are tired, and it's been a real tough effort here in a game that was set up as a very, very much needed win for both sides. Kernahan's tap out. Gather by Scott Russell. Close to the line, it's taken over. And with 1 minute 20 left, Carlton will win the game. They lead 12-10 to 10-2. And it's been Collingwood's accuracy, really, that has kept them in the contest.
Yes, after kicking 4-1 in the first quarter, Kernahan wins down to Phillips. Good tackle by Gaper, off the ground from Russell. Or from Krasiska it was. O'Sullivan onto Albin. With Russell behind him, that's Scott Russell. It's only academic what happens now. Good block there by Kernahan. Richardson, who's done some useful things up forward in this quarter. Bradley again kicks from a standing start as the clock comes down to inside a minute. And Tony Shaw gets cannoned into after he'd taken the mark. I don't think he's too happy with that. He's really tried his best for his side. Oh, that was
should be 50.
unnecessary.
Yeah, that should be 50. That was very unnecessary.
It's not going to be.
Oh.
Richardson goes back and gets on with it. And the ball will be knocked out of bounds by the players down there. It's Steve DeRuy who's just come back onto the ground. I assume he has. Haven't seen him for a while.
He's been on the bench, Pete. You're right there.
So Madden and Morwood with Monkhurst. 3 M's. Line ball, that one. Russell has it socket away from him, but that's out of bounds on the full. He might get the free kick, which he will do. But it won't matter. There's the siren. Carlton running out winners by 20 points. 12-10, 82 to Collingwood. 10-2, 62 at VFL Park. And so, Robbo, you have to ask the question, where do Collingwood go from here? And can Carlton make the 5?
Well, I think Collingwood just have to improve their attitude, Peter. In the early part of that last quarter, their attitude was good, and not the early part when Carlton kicked 2 goals. They got to a situation where they probably couldn't win the game. Then they lifted and got back to within, I think, about 10 or 12 points. But certainly in the third quarter, Carlton's they really desperately needed this victory, and they had the ideal opponents, the traditional rivals, Collingwood. And Collingwood in the same boat had good opposition in Carlton, but certainly Carlton, their attitude was fantastic. Their preparation obviously first class.
So Carlton victorious, 12-10 to 10-2 at VFL Park, winning by 20 points.